Improve your presentation skills and sell your ideas. With Udemy, you can learn practical skills from thousands of online courses taught by real-world experts. Explore your future. Udemy.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. It's June 25th, 2024. Michael, Don, Peter. The Subway Series begins today, the first stretch of the Subway Series, 2 in Citi Field. The next month it'll be 2 at Yankee Stadium. And we have both managers today, so we're looking forward to that. We'll have Carlos Mendoza on at 3:20, and we are going to have Aaron Boone on at 4 o'clock. So
my guy.
There you go. You love him, he loves you, Peter. So that's going to be a strong segment.
The Boonster's my guy.
We're going to very quickly get to the Stanley Cup. Game 7, 2-1. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. They win. So the Oilers almost made history. So they forced a Game 7 after being down 3-0, but they couldn't get anything going. Draisaitl just disappeared in the series, and McDavid disappeared the last 2 games. And I'm a little bit curious, Don and Peter. I wonder what your take is. I didn't ask you before the show because I wanted to be fresh and original.
Right.
So McDavid didn't do anything in Game 6. He didn't do anything in Game 7. Why is he the Conn Smythe winner when Bobrovsky, it was going to be either Bobrovsky or McDavid? He doesn't get it, but McDavid does. Now, I know McDavid up to Game 6 was great. There was something that Steve Levy said between the second and third periods that they have to vote for the Conn Smythe with 10 minutes left in the third period. That doesn't make sense to me. I think if McDavid had scored that tying goal when he was in the goal mouth right there, then I think, okay, he probably gets it. Why does he get it if he doesn't do anything in Game 6 and 7, Don?
Well, the thing is, first of all, when you say didn't do anything, I mean,
he didn't do anything yesterday.
But he did everything he could. I mean, he was all over the ice. He played almost the entire third period, and you could see the ice was tilted. Florida couldn't get out of their own zone because of how much pressure that Draisaitl and McDavid were able to put on the Panthers. It didn't result into anything. But to say that, he didn't do anything, maybe nothing in the box score, but I thought he tried to do everything he could to get that game-tying goal, and then they were just spent by the end of the game, and there just wasn't anything left in the final 30 seconds. Even after the timeout, they just couldn't get the icing to be able to at least get a little bit of a rest there in the final minute to try to get the equalizer. But listen, he didn't do anything in Game 6. They didn't need him to do. They won that game 5-1, pretty much 3-1 with a couple of empty netters, but I thought he did everything that he could to try to get it. It's not basketball where you're going to get points or a quarterback in football that's going to complete passes. I mean, he played almost 26 minutes and did what he could.
Can I just get a 10-second point, God? Real quick. No matter what happened yesterday, it's the third greatest offensive output in postseason history. He won.
The fourth. Only 3 have done better.
It was done. It was done before the game started.
He broke the record for assists by a player in the history of the NHL playoffs. So, I think he was a minus 3,000 going into the game to win the MVP for the Conn Smythe. So that's the thing, Michael, is you got to get the vote down in the final 10 minutes because it's all encompassing. It really wasn't close going in. I mean, there wasn't anything that Bobrovsky was going to do to steal it from him because it's the entire playoff. So when you have that kind of a historic playoff, Michael, and then what he did in games 4 and 5, a combined 8 points in those 2 games, most points ever in a 2-game span in any Stanley Cup final 2-game stretch, in both facing elimination to even have a Game 6 and 7. I got no problem with it.
It's funny, though, because P.K. Subban said between the second and third periods that Bobrovsky should win it. If the Panthers win, he should win it. Now today he's going around saying, I have no problem with Connor McDavid winning it. I guess we don't have a problem with it, except I'm looking at it this way. You know, all the other sports have an NBA Finals MVP, a World Series MVP. I understand that, a Super Bowl MVP. But don't you think it should be weighted toward who wins the Stanley Cup? Even if you had a great first, second, third round, and a great games 4 and 5, the fact that you didn't score in Game 6, and as you said, Don, he didn't need to, but he needed to score yesterday, and he didn't.
Right. But I mean, Michael, we're not talking about a team that got swept in the Stanley Cup final. They went to Game 7 of the Stanley. They almost did, but they didn't, thanks to him and his efforts, his Herculean efforts in Games 4 and 5 to force a Game 6. So it's the entire playoffs, and you lose 2-1 in Game 7. And you break the record for assists in a playoff run. You're the fourth most points ever in the history of the NHL.
And a third player, fourth time, because 2 were Gretzky.
Right,
so
yeah.
Michael,
right.
it's 2 Gretzkys and a Lemieux ahead of him ever in the playoffs. I'm sorry, I can't believe anyone for a moment thought that it would be anything else.
So the ballots, Ryan Clark has a Conn Smythe ballot for ESPN. He voted for Bobrovsky.
It's not the same.
It's not the okay. Ryan S. Clark. All right, thank you.
Both great Ryan Clarks.
Everybody else who voted for McDavid, and then strangely, most of the second place votes were for Barkov.
Yes.
So Bobrovsky didn't even come close, to tell you the truth.
And listen, I thought Bobrovsky played very well, and it's easy to give it to the goaltender because that's the last line of defense.
He didn't play well in Games 4 and 5.
He didn't play well in Games 4 and 5. And when I look at the Rangers series, I thought he played well, but I thought it was more the fact of how well the Panthers played defensively in front of him. That's why Barkov, I think, was getting so much consideration because of what he was able to do, to shut down the Zibanejad line, and then the way he played, especially in the beginning of the series when McDavid and Draisaitl couldn't get anything going in the first 3 games of the final. So that's why he was getting consideration. So I think when you look at the playoffs in totality and the history in which Connor McDavid produced, no problem with it. Now, if you want to get hung up on you have to give it to the team that wins, but if you're looking at the spirit of the Conn Smythe for the entire playoffs, I don't know how you don't give it to Connor McDavid. And the fact that they lost a 1-goal game in Game 7, I mean, go right to the absolutely end of the postseason before it was decided, I don't think it's that great.
But I'm not talking from an area of expertise with hockey. I watched every second. I was enthralled by it. But for the first 2 periods, Don, he didn't do anything. He didn't even have a shot, it seemed like. Right, he didn't do anything. I mean, they're a great defensive team, and they concentrated. Right. And Draisaitl was completely missing in action the whole series, so it looked like he was hurt.
Yeah, he must have been hurt because he was playing tremendous in the first 2 rounds, and then he got shut down in the conference final by Dallas and even more so by Florida. So I'm suspecting he was hurt. And he's not a choke artist, Michael. Only Wayne Gretzky has scored more 100 points in the postseason faster than Leon Draisaitl has. So you're right. I mean, if you want to get into it, did he get the goal? Did he make it happen? Because listen, if he scored the game-tying goal and wins it in overtime, we're hoisting him up and saying, look, that's what champions do, and he didn't let them lose and all that. But I saw a guy giving his effort, and I give Florida a ton of credit. I mean, they really did a tremendous job shutting him down, and I am not going to look at an historic playoff run and say, well, you didn't do enough in Games 6 and 7, so I'm going to take it away from you, when the only reason you had a Game 6 and 7 was the 8 points that you scored combined in Games 4 and 5 to at least even put yourself in that kind of a situation. And the funny thing is, he probably would agree with you. Every time he thinks about that Conn Smythe trophy, it's going to make him sick because he would rather have the other trophy.
Now, Don,
believe me, he would trade it in a second.
They cut away from the commissioner, and they showed everybody. Did he come out to get the Conn Smythe? I would assume that he didn't.
He did not, no. And I can't imagine that he would. This is where I think the NHL dropped the ball. Everyone knows he's winning it. So he could have hurried that trophy out there while the handshakes were going on. announced him as the winner before he left the ice, he would have skated over as a gentleman and taken it. But once he leaves the ice, Michael, he's not
I don't blame
coming
him.
back
I don't blame him.
out and getting it. I mean, not because he's embarrassed, because he doesn't want it. I mean, it's an awkward situation, and obviously the fans were chanting obscenities because all of a sudden everything went mute, and you didn't even hear Gary for a bit, introducing and all that. But so it was kind of just awkward. If they had hurried it out, if there was some doubt he was going to win, maybe it's a different situation, but everybody knew that he was going to win that. They could have done it during the handshakes, and he would have skated over, taken the photo with Gary, and then skated off with it, and nobody been the wiser. But they waited too long, and once he left the ice, there was no way he was coming
You're
back.
going to hate me for saying this, Don, but you keep saying, he tried hard. I'm not giving the Conn Smythe because you tried hard. You have to produce. He didn't produce yesterday. And he was right in front of the goal, and the ball went, the puck went off his stick.
But I'm trying to come up with a comp. Like, if you've got the ball in the NBA,
right?
You either hit the shot or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
In baseball, you either get a hit or you don't. In football, you either catch the ball, complete the pass, tackle the run, or you don't. But in hockey, Michael, I mean, there was one play, I'm trying to remember because so much happened at the end of that game, where he made this brilliant play to center the puck, and it just the pass didn't connect. I don't know. I think it was Hyman at the doorstep, and he fanned on it. Now, if it gets tipped in, then it's a great job. All I look at is who was the better team in the final stages of that game. Who was on the ice trying to make things happen, and you saw the reason that game was so exciting at the end. This was not losing 5-0, and he was completely shut down. He's playing 26
but
minutes.
But he was completely shut down, Don.
But it shut down in the sense that in the final 10 minutes, where was the puck? It was in the Panther zone. I mean, if you're a Panther fan, the heart's in your throat. You're thinking at any moment they might be able to tie the game. So they didn't. Good job out of the Panthers. They blocked a ton of shots. Bobrovsky was good when he had to be. I thought they did a really decent job of a double and sometimes triple teaming McDavid so he couldn't complete any of his passes, because that just shows you how good he is, that you've got to put that much attention on him. But I mean, you don't think that at least some chances were created, that there were opportunities late in the game? So when you say he did nothing, yeah, statistically he didn't do anything. He had 3 shots on goal.
But that's how we keep score.
20.
All right, so let me ask you this about Knobloch's decision.
I'm not getting on you, because the one thing I've made a promise today to do, because all I ever hope for is for hockey to have attention. And it looked like over 6 million people watched that game last night on Twitter. You got people like Dan Orlovsky tweeting. I mean, I've never heard him mention anything about hockey. So I am not going to rip anybody, including you, for being excited and wanting to talk about it. So I've made a commitment. I'm not going to, rip people for their opinions. You're entitled to your opinion, but just hockey's just a little different, Michael. I mean, that's how we keep score. But was there any question, did he didn't get opportunities, that he wasn't putting his team at least in a position at that end of the ice to at least maybe make something happen? So, yeah, it's kind of a easy thing to say, well, you know what, no goals, no assists, 3 shots, bad job. But if you watch him, Michael, you can't say that there wasn't at least the skill of getting into the zone and trying to create something against a real good defensive team that ended up at the end of the day being better.
All right, we've got a minute and a half left before we break, because we want to get to Carlos Mendoza. Knobloch made the decision in the third period to team up Draisaitl and McDavid, and they said it on the broadcast as well. You kind of weaken that second unit, though. There's nobody there, so did you agree with pairing the two of them up?
Well, it's what they do. It's what they've done all year. You see it happen with the Rangers, too. When they're searching for a goal, they'll put Panarin up with Kreider and Zibanejad, is anything to try to create some offense. But the negative byproduct is, especially when you've got to play just them, take a look at the ice times. I mean, you saw some guys only play 7-8 minutes because they didn't trust them to put them on the ice. It had to be those guys. Now, if you keep them separated, at least there's 2 lines you can roll. But they were hoping 2 of the greatest players in the league would be able to produce just the 1 goal that they needed. It didn't work. But you're right. The negative byproduct is that those guys had to play way too much, and by the time the clock expired, they were spent. When you saw them just trying to come up the ice with those final 30 seconds, you could see.
And Sean McDonough was all over it. He said it looked like they're not moving well, and this was a minute and a half left, and they had no last chance there because they didn't have enough energy, because they expended all of it. Anyway, it was fascinating. Watched every second of it, and a lot of people did. As Don said, about 6 million people tuned in some way, shape, or form. Stanley Cup. It's over. NBA Finals, it's over. Both teams in New York are certainly relevant. The Yankees are in first place. The Mets are trying to get to 500. They're just a game and a half out of the wild card, the final wild card in the National League. So there's a lot at stake in these two games in the Subway Series. We're excited about it. I am here at Citi Field. Don and Peter are back at our studios in Manhattan. So you stay with us. We'll cover it all. As I mentioned, Carlos Mendoza, Met manager, coming up next. And at 4 o'clock, it'll be Aaron Boone. He's going to talk with Peter, and Don and I will listen in. So stay tuned right here on Yes and on 98.7 ESPN.
There's an easier way. From little fixes to big projects, taking care of your home is easy with Thumbtack. Download the Thumbtack app and start caring for your home today.
Mom?
Yeah.
I think we're out of toilet paper.
Oh, no.
We need more chips,
More
Mom.
chips.
Okay, hon, I'm gonna need chicken.
When you feel like everyone needs a little bit of everything, shop BJ's Wholesale Club on Instacart. Same-day delivery in as fast as 1 hour. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first order.
Hard water makes it hard to keep your home looking like the work of art you've always envisioned it would be. Culligan softeners reduce hard water buildup and your cleaning time, transforming every drop, every splash, every rinse into the fine art of a long-lasting clean. With a Culligan water softener, revel in the breathtaking beauty of your home, just the way you've always pictured it. Culligan, water you love.
This is my crate from Kiwi Cup. There's a super fun project inside.
There are so many different projects to do, like science, engineering, art, and more.
I built an awesome mechanical machine that actually works. I think my brain's getting bigger. My parents are so busy. Lucky for them, all this comes in the mail, so they don't have to do anything. So cool.
Get your first month free at trykiwico.com.
Before ClickUp, we were kind of a mess. We had so many different systems that we were using to communicate and share knowledge that you kind of had to code switch every time you were talking to somebody different.
We have distributed teams all across the world. There's a clear time difference there, and I think ClickUp really helps manage all that information regardless of time. We can communicate asynchronously, and so we are able to be very productive using ClickUp.
We just shipped our millionth monthly coffee subscription box. We're sending custom thank you gifts to everyone on our team who helped us get there. I had to call Eric at Custom Ink. Custom Ink has been with us from the beginning, and he makes sure that we get everything we need and even reminds us of our own company milestones. This milestone, though, I get to tell him about. He is every bit as excited as we are and knows great quality products we can customize and send for the gifts. Celebrate all your milestones with custom gear. Get started today at customink.com.
We have food at home. Now means something deliciously easy with Home Chef. With our quick, energizing breakfast options to enjoy on the go, tasty lunches ready in minutes to help you power through the day, and easy prep, no mess dinners for busy weeknights. Your favorite place to grab a bite is right at home. Get breakfast, lunch, and dinner delivered to your door by Home Chef. And don't forget dessert. Order now and get 18 free meals and free shipping, plus free dessert for life.
Well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR when you finance with Geon Financial. Or current qualified lessees can get this Equinox for around $249 a month.
Oh, prom day is July 16th and the 17th. With all these deals, I could be more than Megan Thee Stallion. I could be Megan the...
Have to be a member if you want free shipping. Yeah, start clicking.
Mom! Yeah? I fell. Okay, there's bandages in the cabinet.
I'm bleeding.
Grab 2.
Sheba, what cats want.
Rumor has it that our new New York-style pizza is Domino's best pizza yet. Made with our fresh, never-frozen dough that's stretched thin and cut into 6 foldable slices. Rumor also has it that you might have to fight over the last slice. Order Domino's New York-style tonight and see for yourself.
It's like Dave was made for me.
Oh, I know Dave. Let me see a pic.
A banking app?
The banking app for everyday people. I think I found the one.
There's an easier way to bank and get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less when you download Dave.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your Ford dealer is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains. Get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it.
Right now, returning lessees can lease the Ford Explorer for $369 a month for 36 months, only at your local Ford stores.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
Welcome back to the Michael K. Show. Michael, Don, and Peter with you. The Mets have already made a move today. Starling Marte was put on the 10-day IL with right knee bone bruise, and Ben Gamel, former Yankee farmhand, was called up. Mets have their starting lineup out. Francisco Lindor will play short, Brandon Nimmo in left, J.D. Martinez the DH, Pete Alonso at first, Francisco Alvarez at second, Taylor in right, Vientos at third, McNeil's at fourth, and is at third, batting eighth. He's at second, batting eighth. Let me get that right. And Bader is in center field, batting ninth. Starting for the Mets will be David Peterson. For the Yankees, it's Garrett Cole. We're still waiting on the Yankees starting lineup. Also waiting on Carlos Mendoza, who we should hear from momentarily. And while we wait for him, why don't we take some phone calls? 1-800-919-3776. And we'll go to Sharkey and Suffern. Sharkey.
Hey, good afternoon, boys.
How you doing?
Mike, I have to... Good. How are you? I have to agree with you. Don, I hate to go against you with anything because, you know, I love you. But I did have a little bit of a problem with McDavid winning the Conn Smythe. Let me preface this by saying before the series started, I took the Panthers and Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe. So needless to say, after Game 3, I was 3/4 of the way to the bank ready to cash my money in. But anyway, I just don't feel like and I think part of it was because there was no clear-cut winner on the Panthers. But you don't win the Conn Smythe by piling up assists. You win it by getting goals, or if you're a goaltender, you stand on your head. No other skater has ever won the Conn Smythe except Reggie Leach, and he scored 19 goals. You don't win an MVP in baseball by hitting singles. You do it by hitting home runs. You don't win a basketball MVP.
Well, that's just
by
but who says that? Because every assist is attached to a goal. He had more assists than anybody that's ever played in the playoffs, including Wayne Gretzky. So how do you say you don't win without scoring goals? Well, if you get an assist, somebody scored a goal.
Yeah, but you didn't. And like I say, nobody's ever won a Conn Smythe by just getting
but Reggie Leach also won the Conn Smythe in 1976, scoring 19 goals, which is still the NHL record, and they got swept in the Stanley Cup final by Montreal. Swept.
Right. So that just shows you how great, how amazing it was. He probably only played 22 games or 21 games and still scored 19 goals.
All right. And Connor McDavid had more assists than Wayne Gretzky ever had in the post. Well, what are you not getting? I mean, assists means somebody scored. It's part of his game. He had 100 assists. Yeah. There's been, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and then Kucherov this year. To have 100 assists in one season, I don't understand. It's about scoring goals, not assists. Well, assists are attached to goals.
Well, hold on. Also, Don, these people are making me sound like a hockey expert. I don't know if you guys know this. If you watch hockey, assists are a big deal. That's why points are a big deal. If assists weren't the thing, people would just talk about goals. But when Wayne Gretzky, Don, what's the first thing people talk about? All-time point leader. Much more than half of that is assists. You can't downplay it now because you don't like that he lost the series. No, it's stupid. I'm sorry. I don't waste making people feel bad, but the guy's the Conn Smythe winner.
Let's go to Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Oh, here we go. Contact.
Oh, well, Richard. Well, let's not go to Richard because we have Carlos Mendoza on with us.
Well, we never get to Carlos.
I don't want Carlos to hear Richard.
No, that would not be good. Carlos, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How you doing?
Michael, how you doing? Good to have me. Don, Peter, what's up, fellas?
Pleasure, man.
All right, so I've got to ask you this. You started out 12-8. The next 35, you went 10-25. Now you're 15-6. How proud are you of this team, and how did you keep this team together when over that 35-game stretch, that was the worst record in baseball? How did you do it, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm very proud of the team, of the boys, and how they continue to compete, how they continue to, face adversity and continue to move forward, continue to stay positive, just looking for ways to get better as a team in every area. So, yeah, credit to them, credit to the coaching staff, and a lot of people that, behind the scenes are working really hard. So it's good to see the team continue to play well. I'm expecting you, Michael, to stop by my office here at some point, because last time I saw you at my office, that was in London. So,
Listen, Carlos, I didn't even want to bring it up, but since you did, everybody's giving Grimace all the credit. Do you realize that after I popped in your office, you guys have hardly lost? I think it's me, frankly.
We'll continue to write whatever it is, Michael. But I'm just saying that you step on my office just to say hi. Obviously, you were doing the ESPN game that day, and man, it was a good game. It was a hell of a game,
great ending.
Hell of an ending, and and then it was the Grimace, whatever that is. We'll continue to wrestle. So I was like, hey, Michael, stop by. Well, I'll see you do MVP.
Well, Carlos, I've been saying I believe that Grimace and Michael Kay have exactly the same amount to do with you being a hot baseman. So that I will stand by.
And they're physically similar also.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm not going to go there. But what's the challenge, Carlos? You come into this season, there's not a lot of expectations outside of the organization. I'm sure you guys had your own expectations. You've got a lot of players that are on one-year contracts. So what is the challenge of trying to just keep everybody, engaged when there's so much thought about 2025, but you've got a 2024 to worry about?
Yeah, look, I never saw it as a challenge. I saw it as a great opportunity, because when I was looking at the roster, it was, 1 through 26 or the 40-man roster, because, you're going to need 40-plus to get to 162-plus, right? So I was like, man, I get it that the projections and people from the outside are talking about the Mets in the 2025. I was like, screw that, 2024. We have a very good opportunity in front of us to do something special. And obviously, we got off to a rough start. Then we played well, and then we got off to a month of May where it was like, wow, it was hard. But look, man, it's New York, right? But, and when adversity hits, you just got to face it, you got to embrace it, and you got to fight and keep moving forward. And that's what we've done. And proud of the group. It hasn't been easy, and we continue to get the face adversity. But, I'm pretty confident that the guys will get through some of the things that, we're facing right now. And again, going back to your question, I never saw it as a challenge. I saw it as a great opportunity. And here we are, at the end of June, and in a better position now. And I expect for us to continue to play well.
Carlos, how much? If this is obviously you're new to the manager game, and it's a new Major League Baseball in terms of the role the manager has. How much talking do you do to the room when the team is in trouble? Do you talk a lot? Give me a little bit of what's your style in the locker room?
Yeah, I'm not a big team meeting guy. I like the one-on-one conversation, small setting, whether it's, the 3-4 leaders of the team from the position player side of things, or the 2 or 3 guys from the pitching staff, the one-on-one. And it happens, informal, whether we're, in the training room, in the weight room, shagging in the outfield, or when guys are taking BP. I'll have some serious conversation on informal settings. Then, yeah, we have the platform or the pitcher-catchers meeting, the hitters meetings every day. If I feel like I need to say something as a group, I'll step in and I'll say what I need to say. But I think it's a combination of both. I think at the end of the day, it's just getting to know your players, your personnel, what makes them tick, and so they know where you're coming from. There's times where I feel like I need to address the whole group, but most of the time it's one-on-one conversation. So,
all right. So you don't really do the whole team meeting thing that much. It's more of a one-on-one, as you said. But your team did have a team meeting when it was kind of rock bottom, and it seems like from that point on, Carlos, I don't know if things loosened up a bit, but they have been playing better. From what you know, what was said in that meeting with the players?
Yeah, look, and that was the right timing because, I remember talking to some of the coaches, like, I'm getting the room together, and because we need to get them together today. And, 5-10 minutes later after the game was over, it's like, hey, Lindor called out a meeting. And I was like, perfect. So, we talk about accountability. There was a lot of things that I felt like players got off their chest that they needed to say and challenge each other. Like at the end of the day, we needed to be better. Whether it was preparation, whether they compete, or like we needed to do something about it. The style of play that we were going through, and I'm glad that they did it. They're all saying it. It's like, man, one of the best meetings I've ever been a part. They saying that publicly now, and I thought it was important for them to get together and just basically call each other out. I'm glad they did it, and he started by Lindor. That's why he is who he is. But we got a lot of veterans in that group that make things a little bit easier here.
More adversity, Carlos, you're going to have to face as Marte's been placed on the 10-day IL. How do you fill in for him? How much of a loss is that going to be for your club?
Yeah, it's a big loss. Obviously, he's been a huge part of this team, offensively, defensively with his arm, running the bases, being a force for us in the middle of a lineup. But look, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. And that's the challenge that every team goes through, on 162. We're not the only one dealing with adversity. And at the end of the day, we have to find a way. That's what it comes down to. It's the big league, it's the New York Mets, and here we are trying to fight for a playoff spot. And look, man, guys will step up. We called up Ben Gamel. We got Tyrone Taylor, DJ Stewart. Jeff McNeil can go in the outfield and play a little bit there if we need to. So I will continue to mix and match and use all the players on the active roster, and we'll get through it.
No, one thing that I really love that you've done, we're starting with Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets, is, listen, if a guy's not playing, he's going to sit. I mean, you did that with McNeil, and obviously you played Iglesias, who has really been a spark plug for you. What do you think has gone wrong with McNeil so far?
Yeah, it's been hard for him. It's been a tough season for him. Even when he's feeling good at the plate, like we saw it on Sunday. He went 0 for 4 and hit 3 bullets at people. Like when things are not going your way, like it's hard. And he's been through a lot, but he continued to work hard. He continued to show up every day and put in the work. Continue to make adjustments. Continue to watch film. Get with the hitting coaches. Talking to players. And look, this is a guy that won a batting title not too long ago. I don't think he just forgot how to hit out of nowhere, all of a sudden. So I truly believe that, Jeff McNeil will turn things around, and I will continue to play him and try to get him going.
How has Pete Alonso handled everything that comes with being in a walk year and also, being a leader of a team? How difficult has that been for him to deal with?
Look, he's been great. I don't think he's been difficult at all. Obviously, there's always going to be noise. There's always going to be speculations and things like that. At the end of the day, Pete shows up every day with the same attitude, same mentality. He's a gamer. He wants to win. He wants it so bad. And he brings energy. He's intense. And I think, look, this is my first year around the guy, and I love him. Just, how intense he is, how much he wants to win, how much he cares. And he enjoys playing here in New York, obviously. So I don't think he's, all the noise and everything outside of our locker room here is affecting him at all. And now we're seeing, starting to come through and seeing the player that we know he's capable of offensively. So that's a good sign because he can carry a team for a long time. So, here we are.
All right, so Edwin Diaz gets caught with something on his hand Sunday, sticky stuff, and they throw him out, which leads to a 10-game suspension. You have the Yankees these 2 games. You have the Astros this weekend. And he chose not to appeal, which could have delayed this for a while. Why no appeal?
Yeah, because of that. Like, we didn't want this cloud to continue to hang over the club. It was like, let's move on, let's get it over with, and start serving your suspension here. Let's get the 10 games out of the way right away. The more we wait, I don't think it was worth it. Obviously, he talked to his people, his agent. We talked to him, and we decided that it was best for Edwin and the team to just get it over with and start serving his suspension tonight.
All right, so I'm curious about this, though, Carlos. Domingo Germán had it on his hands, and they had him wash his hands. Why didn't they give Diaz the opportunity to wash his hands? It wasn't on his uniform. It wasn't on his glove. Why not give him the opportunity? Why do umpires sometimes let you wash your hands, other times they don't?
Yeah, my understanding is, Michael, that when they see something on the hand, whether it's the coloring, is it dark, but they don't feel as sticky, they just say, they give the guys a chance, go wash your hands, and then come back and pitch. That wasn't the case, according to Vic, that day. It was like, this is too much. And look, Edwin was pretty honest at the moment. It's like, hey, man, I got nothing to hide here. It's Rosen and Sweat. Obviously, the one thing that, talking to Edwin afterwards, it was the conditions, obviously. It was for the first time pitching, it was hot and humid. Early in the year, it was so cold here in New York, and at the beginning of the year, then he went down, and he kept going to the Rosen, and what make the hands sticky. So I think there's one of those where Vic felt like, I can't give him a chance to go wash your hands because this is a little too much. They check hands all the time. Obviously, I believe Edwin, but, they make the decisions. The rules obviously are there for it, and then, Vic, like I said, Vic make the decision.
Now, but I guess what bothered me, listen, I'm a fan, Carlos, but if that happened to me, I would want to put up more of a fight. I felt like Diaz was way more accepting to things, considering he's going to get a 10-game suspension on top of this. If he felt he was wronged, I don't know why he seemed to accept everything the way that he did.
Yeah, look, and I was pissed. I was pissed too, even though I probably didn't show it much. But, it was one of those where, Vic was very convinced that it was too much. Again, that was my first time feeling or seeing a hand right there in person. And, it's hard for me to compare. But listening to Vic, it was like, I got to do it. So, again, Edwin was pretty honest. He was like, hey, man, I'm a man here, I'm telling you what's going on. But it was, too late, I guess.
So is Reed Garrett closed for you, or will it be matchup?
It'll be matchup. I feel like, I will continue to piece it together. I feel like if in the 7th inning, the game's on the line, or in the 8th inning, where they at in the lineup, where we at offensively, bullpen-wise, I'll continue to mix and match. And, we get to the 9th inning, and, it's not Reed Garrett because I use him in the 7th with 2 on and against their best hitters, then, I will continue to do that.
So it's 2 games, and in all likelihood, you'll get 16 plate appearances between Soto and Judge. Do you plan to throw them any strikes?
We'll see. I mean, they're pretty special. I've seen Judge up close for a long time, and when he's locked in, he's a pretty special hitter. So we'll be ready for him. We'll see.
Now, ultimately, the decision to have Severino pitch on Sunday, Peterson pitch today, is that a lefty-righty situation, Carlos, or is it just the fact that, hey, you're battling the Cubs for wild card position, that game Sunday was more important?
Well, look, every game's important, we're going to every game knowing that, hey, we got to win this game. Everyone counts, right? But I think it was just more matchup based. We wanted the righty facing the Cubs, and we wanted some of our lefties facing the Yankees. So, but as far as the importance of the game, every one of them counts. Everyone matters. Yeah, I get the fact that the Cubs for potential tiebreaker, but it was just more when we talk about when we were wrestling with the ideas. Obviously the players needed to be on board. I talked to Savvy because I knew he was going to be disappointed that he wasn't going to get to face the Yankees. But he was like, I'm ready to do whatever you guys feel is best for the team. So we decided to go that route, and I'm glad it worked out on Sunday, and I'm hoping that I'm expecting Peter to go out there and pitch a really good game against the Yankees tonight.
I know you've got some things to do, so before we let you go, does it mean I know you saw them in spring training, but that doesn't count. These are games that count. Both teams would like to win these games. You're going up against a guy who was 4 years for his bench coach. You've been in the Yankee organization forever. What does this mean to you, Carlos, this series?
Yeah, it's special. There's a lot of people in that organization that I have a lot of respect for, and obviously they are a great team. They got off to an unbelievable start, and we have a really good team here, and we started to play really well the past couple of weeks or so. So these games are important. Obviously, you're playing in the greatest city in the world, right? And there's 2 fan bases that are very passionate. They're intense. It'll be electric. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward forward to it, and it'll be fun. But again, a lot of people in the other side that I have a lot of respect, but at the end of the day, when we're going between the lines, we're trying to beat each other. So
I will tell everybody this that's listening to the show. If you don't know Carlos Mendoza that well, I will tell you that not only did the Mets get a great baseball man, but they got a great man. He's a great guy, and the Mets should be lucky, and they're fortunate to have a guy like you, Carlos. So I only wish you great success. You know that.
Thanks, Michael. I really appreciate it.
All right, and you're going to have to pay me some money to drop by the office if you want this to continue.
Wow.
I'll see you behind the cage, MVP.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks, Carlos.
That is Carlos Mendoza, the Met manager. He is a terrific dude. And you know what? To keep a team together when their May was as bad as it was, Don and Peter, I mean, they had the worst record in baseball. I mean, Don, at that point, you said they should break it up right now, and a lot of people felt like that. And somehow they dug down. Now, their pitching's not good. I don't think their pitching is good enough. Their hitting is not bad. If you look at what their hitting has done, and somehow they've made it work with the pitching, pieced it together, if they could get back Senga and then make a trade for another starting pitcher, they might be in decent shape, Don.
Well, they're definitely benefiting from what is a really weak National League. I mean, it's still a team that's trying to climb above 500 after that 0-5 start. Really kind of dug a hole, but it's been kind of up and down. But June has been terrific for them. Continue to win series. And McNeil's not hitting, and now you're going to have to go without Marte. That's not nothing, Michael, to lose him, and now you got Diaz now suspended. So they're going to face some adversity here as we close out the month of June. But I give him credit for a first-year manager to have to deal with a bunch of one-year contracts with, the expectations being as low as they are. And he didn't look at it as a challenge. He looked at it as an opportunity. And so far, they seem to be taking advantage of it. And you've got Cohen. You've got the chance to add some payroll. So what I said at the time about breaking it up is show me something, and they've certainly shown more than that they deserve to be a team that to watch and see what they can do. July 31st is a long way away, but so far they've at least deserved a chance to see what they can do here.
You know what? And I think that what happened with the Diamondbacks last year allows everybody to dream. If you have two decent starting pitchers and you can hit, you got a chance. Diamondbacks had 3 real good starting pitchers. And you know what? They made it to the World Series. All you have to do is get hot in October. You get past the wild card series, then the 5-game set, then the best of 7. And you know what? You look up and all of a sudden you're playing really important games in October. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen for them, but at least they've made the summer interesting, at least the beginning of the summer. Because when they were 10-25 over that 35-game stretch, it looked like it was really a lost summer, that they would have to fight the Marlins and the Nationals to stay out of last place. And right now, they're a game and a half out of a wild card. They still got some teams to jump over. One of the teams, though, they swept, the San Diego Padres. So I'm not saying that this team is going to run away and hide. They're not that good. They're not good enough to do that. But they got spunk, and you like spunk. And they got a manager who's really smart and well-respected, and he kept this team together. I don't think that's something to just be dismissed. They get to 500. They're at 37-39, and then you start to talk.
Also, I mean, if you're Mendoza, in the sort of microwave sports world we live in, how many throwaway years do you get in a sport?
You don't. Yeah, I think it's a great point.
So, like, this recovery may be the difference between him keeping this job for a while or not. I mean, I know that it would have been way too soon to talk about, what do they do with Mendoza? But we know how it works. That's where we'd be at the end of the year. So, props to him, man.
No, I mean,
the temperature was turned up, and he's responded, and so have they.
Buck won 101 games, was fired after the next year. So, I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? So, I think they're behind him. I think David Stearns is behind him, and Cohen is behind him. And you know what? He is very, very well respected throughout baseball. If he didn't get the Met job, he's going to get another job. The Yankees loved him, but obviously they have a manager, and they love him as well. But Mendoza was always highly thought of, and that's why he was Boone's bench coach for 4 years.
Now, they are home, but, without Marte, without Diaz, 2 games against the Yankees, off day on Thursday, and then Houston comes to town, and they've won 5 in a row, and they look like they've turned it around a bit. So they're going to get tested. They're going to continue to get tested, Michael, here with this schedule and with as shorthanded as they are. And then they get a little bit of a break when they go to Washington for 4, and then Pittsburgh.
And, Washington's in front of them, too, Don.
Yeah, they're right. So But I just think you just want to play winning baseball and continue to do the best that you can. But the schedule gets tougher, and no Marte, no Diaz. We'll see. They've been up and down, and they're kind of set up right now based on the schedule and the injuries and the suspensions of going back down again. So I think this is a very interesting week for them to keep their head above water and stay in this race.
Now, Peter, I know that you're loath to give me any love. Loathe. L-O-A-T-H-E. Loathe.
I know the word. Thanks.
You heard the manager say, please drop by, because he knew things turned when he saw the Caster in London. He admitted it. I didn't even bring it up.
Right. But does it bother you that if he was talking to Grimace, he would have said the
I
same
don't think
thing?
so. Well, first of all, I don't think Grimace is verbal.
That's not for you to judge. I'm not comfortable with it, but I don't
know the answer.
I don't judge Grimace.
All right, we're going to talk to Aaron Boone at 4 o'clock. So big show, lots to do.
You kidding me?
It's going to be unbelievable. Yay! But first, Peter wants to tell you about his car.
You're also widely known for your ability to mimic the batting stances of players, such as Dave Winfield, who wore 31 for the Yankees. $505,000. Your wife has 505,000 more Instagram followers than you. Why do you think people like her so much more?
My God. We talk about this a lot. It's kind of embarrassing.
The finest premium arena club in the world comes alive in Brooklyn. Welcome to Crown Club, the Brooklyn Nets' most exclusive club in Barclays Center. Featuring a menu curated by Major Food Group with Carbone classics and a world-class wine list. To learn more about premium memberships at Barclays Center, visit brooklynnets.com/crown-club.
I'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
This homestyle chicken salad wrap from Subway, this is how you do it. Savory chicken, crisp veggies, all wrapped up.
These wraps are amazing.
People can hear my thoughts. That's a problem. Stay fresh out there with all new wraps from Subway.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Wow. Yes to the ultimate viewing experience.
Aaron Judge crushes one.
Yes to in-game live stats. And earn rewards and win prizes. Get all the Yankees action on the Yes app. Download now.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
FanDuel Casino has your chance at the #1 feeling, winning. Winning ranks higher than any other feeling, higher than number 30. Saying, I told you so.
Told you so.
Higher than number 89, the feeling of catching your car keys with one hand. And number 78, thinking it's Friday when it's really Saturday. New players get 200 chances at winning with their first deposit on FanDuel Casino.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
This is a keepsake frame. This is actually a photo from my wedding. I'm Adam Weiss, founder and CEO of Keepsake, the mobile app that makes it easy to have your photos printed, framed, and shipped to your doorstep. You just choose a photo that you love, you can preview it in over 100 frames, and in a couple of days, you're gonna receive your photo in a beautiful, handmade frame. So if you've got a special photo on your phone, install the free Keepsake app. We would love a chance to frame it for you.
The Community Food Bank of New Jersey is the state's largest anti-hunger organization. We provide nutrition. We provide support. We provide opportunity. We can't do it without you. Go to cfbnj.org to join us today.
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Subway Series starts tonight. Yankees Mets from Citi Field at 7:10 and at 8 from UBS Arena. The Liberty face the Lynx for the Commissioner's Cup. Peter's going to be there. That's game time.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Well, it is the Subway Series starting tonight. Mets against the Yankees. Peterson against Cole. Still waiting on the Yankee lineup. Subway Series starts tonight. Driven to you by Nissan. Hurry in. These epic offers are going fast at the Nissan Thrill of Summer Sales event. Shop your local Nissan store on nissanusa.com today. Now, what I'm going to say right now might get me into some trouble.
Here we go.
I love when you start this way.
With who? I need to know who's going to get in trouble.
It could be my bosses.
Oh,
cool. It could be an advertiser. It could be the listening audience.
All right.
But, you know, we appreciate every single one of the people that spend their money to advertise on the show.
Yes.
And SNY is one of those people. So, you know, the game's on Yes tonight, and the game is on SNY. So the way it breaks down is Met fans usually watch on SNY, and Yankee fans will watch on Yes. But their ad, which ran during the last break, enjoy the Subway Series at the best booth in baseball. I mean, do you expect me to just take that line down? I think our booth is the best booth in baseball.
What do you want to say, Michael?
Well, I mean, but you know who the host of the show is. One of the hosts of the show is. You're going to put that. I'm supposed to sit there and take it laying down. I'll take O'Neill and Cone and me over Garon and Keith. I would. I mean, they're great, but so is our booth. So I mean, the way you want people to watch is to say, join the best booth in baseball. I'm sorry, I think we're the best booth in baseball.
No, well then now that you just had your retort, but I'm surprised that you're upset that they would say that.
But why go that route?
Wait, but this is
odd.
What a bizarro take this is.
How is it bizarro?
It's their thing. It's when people are promoting themselves, they say the number one blank. You know, sometimes when people say number one, I don't know if you know this, they're not always telling the truth.
Right.
They're just saying they're promoting themselves.
Oh, I understand everything you're saying, but you can't expect me to just take that and go, oh, okay, that's true. No, it's not.
Oh, yes. You mean to have you read it?
Right. No, it wasn't. I wouldn't read it if it was a read, but it was a commercial during the stop set. I get it. I mean, I guess they're believing their own hype. Good, great. Met fans love them. I get it. But I'll keep our booth ahead of anybody's.
All right, well, as you should feel that way.
And you should feel that way. But they should feel their way.
You'd be shocked if they didn't feel
I think they should feel that way. And I feel that way. But you also have to be somewhat, I don't know, out of a mindset of being completely clueless to run that on the Michael K. Show. Well, it's not like they have it with Evan and Tiki.
Yeah, that's I hear you.
Because I want to get in trouble with you, Mike. Hold your hand right to face the gallows.
Okay.
Who's being silly?
What do you mean?
Is it our sales department or is it SNY? I mean, SNY puts a spot together and they're paying the money. They want to put their best foot forward. Sounds like if you have a problem with anybody, it would be the people.
No, not at all. Listen, you take the money, but I think just.
Well, then what's the issue?
But my issue is, why would you run that ad during this show?
Well, why wouldn't you? Because it's a very popular show, and they want to be able to promote their product on a very popular show.
But now you're going to have me sit back and go, I don't think that's true.
Well, that's fine. But they at least had their say.
The crazier part was back in the day, there was a time, not back in the day, in somewhat recent past, they wanted it to be a read on our show. Now, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if you or Don read it, and I would rebut it the same way I'm rebutting it now.
But the point is that they put a commercial together. And in that commercial, they're going to promote their product, and they're going to be proud of the product that they promote. So why shouldn't they say best booth in baseball? We air it. You don't have a problem with us airing it because we like their money, and then you get a chance to retort. So what's the issue?
There is no issue, but I retorted.
Right.
But does it make sense for them to have the host of the show retort what they said? And I'm a big fan of Gary, Ron, and Keith. I think they do a great job. But to say best booth in baseball when one of the hosts of the show that you're running it on is in the other booth.
But would you rather them not promote it on this show than they'd be doing themselves a disservice?
And us.
No, I don't care. I'm just saying I care that when somebody says that, I don't believe it.
Well, and Nancy wants to chime in. She just sent me an article that Kruk and Kuiper voted the best booth in baseball, so you're both wrong.
Well, okay.
There you go.
I mean, talk about the hubris to say that you're the best. According to whom?
But Michael, this is what you keep coming back to the crazy part of your take. The hubris. Do you know? I mean, Howard Stern nicknamed himself the king of all media. He wasn't knighted. There wasn't some sort of ceremony. He made it up.
I don't think Michael Jackson was upset with the king of pop.
No, he created it. I think he started telling people that's what I want to be referred to as the king of pop.
Right.
It was made up. It was a promotional tool.
Didn't Joe DiMaggio ask to be called the greatest living player?
Because he was voted that. That's why he said it. He was voted that.
How does Pete Rose sign every autograph?
The hit king, because he's the hit king. It's a tangible fact. He's the hit king.
But the he's the hit leader.
He's the hit king.
Well, the king is subjective.
The king is subjective. You could say Ted Williams is the hit king. King isn't a set thing. It's a name he came up with.
It's hits. He's got the most hits. He's the hit king.
Okay,
Ted Williams might be the hitter king.
No, then it should say hit leader. It shouldn't say hit king. It's a nickname. It's promotion.
This is fun.
All right, I've got the Yankees starting lineup.
Thank God. That's tangible.
Thank God.
We'll give you the Yankees starting lineup before we have Aaron Boone on at 4. Volpe leads off, plays short. Juan Soto in right. Aaron Judge in center. Gleyber Torres cleans up, batting in the 4th spot, playing second. Verdugo in left. J.D. Davis at first. DJ LeMahieu at third, Jahmai Jones the DH, and Trevino will catch. I mean, that's not a murderer's row from 4 down.
No, but clean up Torres.
Oh, we'll talk about that with Aaron.
Stay with us.
Stay with us. And first, I want to tell everybody that to hit a home run, everything needs to line up.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Yale New Haven Health, powering medical breakthroughs.
This grandmother's breakthrough, getting her game back, was made possible
That's how you do it.
by another breakthrough. Clinical research which redefined the international guidelines for treating heart failure. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine, delivered through Yale New Haven Health's Heart and Vascular Center. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
Hi. Deprioritized.
But it's a work call.
Oh, a work call? Deprioritized.
T-Mobile home internet relies on cell phone towers, so when their network gets busy,
Not the fridge. Come on.
you can be deprioritized.
It's too bad. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Forget T-Mobile cell phone internet. Get home internet that puts you first. Get Spectrum.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your Ford dealer is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains. Get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it.
Right now, returning lessees can lease a Bronco Sport for $319 a month for 24 months, only at your local Ford stores.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Hello, I'm Dennis Quaid. For years, Tunnel to Towers has demonstrated a commitment to first responders and military families. They've paid off mortgages and built specially adapted smart homes. Now the foundation is expanding its mission to eradicate veteran homelessness. Please give our veterans a chance to reclaim their dignity by donating at T2T.org.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
Yes. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Michael, Don, and Peter. Big Subway Series. Yankees against the Mets. Cole against David Peterson. We gave you the Yankee lineup. There's key players on the Yankees right now. And to me, those key players are Torres and LeMahieu. They've got to start hitting because the bottom of the order is not stout enough to support the great top of the order. So we know there are injuries, and Stanton and Rizzo are out. But the bottom line is those guys are in, and they have to perform. All right, it's time for Diamond Notes, brought to you by London Jewelers and driven by Nissan. And our good friend, the manager of the Yankees, Aaron Boone, joins us now on the show. Aaron, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's up, guys?
Not too much. We miss you. We'll just say that right out front. I know that Peter particularly does.
It's hard.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
No. And it was a pleasure seeing you at spring training, and I'm glad that you gave me a couple of minutes. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. What's up?
Well, let's talk about this series. Your team is not clicking right now. 3-7 over the last 10, the first 3-7 stretch of the season. Is there any concern on your part at all, Aaron?
No. I think one of these little stretches is inevitable. Like, I'm concerned about everything, but am I concerned that we're not really good? No. We've had some things that, got exposed or shine lights on. I think it's the timing of it kind of gives you a good lay of the land of, hey, what do we need to address? What do we need to get better at? Are there things we can do internally? Are there things we're going to be looking for externally over the next month? So I think, going through something like this kind of gives you a little clearer vision. And also, the first 2 months for us were, so smooth and went as well as, you could possibly hope for. That look, in the long season, you hear me say all the time that adversity and things are coming for you at some point. Like, it's not the worst thing to have to go through this, and as it can be a little reminder that, hey, you can't. We ain't just throwing our gloves out there. It happens. Winning is difficult, and we got to make sure we keep that sharp mindset and that edge. That, hey, this is hard too.
I guess the biggest surprise for me, Aaron, was how your rotation survived without Garrett Cole. It was really, really impressive, and certainly Heel was a major reason for that. Now he's come back to earth just a little bit. Is that any way concerning, especially the last outing, or did you figure that something would level off after what was an amazing start to the season for him?
Well, I don't know that he's come back to earth. I think he had a terrible outing his last start. I mean, that's, which, can happen. And there's things that you can take from that if you learn from them. And one thing I think Luis Hill has done so well this year and is he's learned things from every outing. And for as well as he's pitched, every outing hasn't gone exactly perfect, even though he's dominated for the most part. But what he's done is he's learned and grown, and I feel like matured as a player, as a professional, as a pitcher, as a person through all of this. And last start where, he really got roughed up for the first time, there's things to take away from there that I think are going to serve him and us well, that we can learn from, grow from, and hopefully get better from. And that's one thing Luis has done really, really well this year is he's learned from, for the most part, small hiccups within certain outings, but now a chance to learn from one where you got to hand it to you a little bit.
Aaron, we know how impactful Soto's been on the field. What's he been like off the field for this team?
He's been great. I mean, he's like, first and foremost, like, he's a really good dude, and I think he really invested into the team and his teammates early on in spring training, and I think his teammates back to him. Like, I think that's one thing this team has done really, really well, going back to even before spring training started, when we had so many guys down in Tampa, like, together, and, like, in a lot of ways, like, trying to put last year behind us, and, like, making sure we're not in that situation again, making sure we're having the winners and the lead up to spring training and the investment in one another. That was really, really apparent this winter, and even before spring training, that investment in one another. And Juan's been in the middle of that, and it's all been led by Aaron too. Judgy living down in Tampa, like. These guys are really, really close and really, really connected and really, really playing for one another. And that playing for one another is something that you could really sense from the start.
All right, so you have Garrett Cole starting today. And in his last start, he threw 62 pitches. I think I know the answer to this, but I want to ask you anyway. If a pitcher is really dealing, it's usually 15 pitches an inning. So if you have him limited to 65, you're only going to get 4+ out of him, and then you're going to put a drain on your bullpen. How come you guys didn't let him progress to 90 pitches in the minors? What was the thought process behind that?
Well, who's going to give you better 65 pitches than Garrett Cole?
Oh, I get that, but you still have to get like 15 outs out of the bullpen then.
But who? Yeah, but you're going to have to do that anyway.
Well,
like, we knew going into that we were. So if you called up someone, the likelihood of where we were in the rotation, and with Cody Poteet going down, we weren't going to have the coverage.
Gotcha.
So we were prepared for that. And, that was all kind of, 3 weeks in the making of, like, when do we want to bring Garrett? What makes the most sense? Would we rather have him build the last portion of his build-up here, especially with the run of, we got through a tough stretch of the schedule where we had a 17 in a row, we have a 13 in a row. Now we've been in these stretches where we've had a day off a week. Now you can't necessarily account for, we had a week in where Garrett he went into the 5th in that game.
Right.
And then we had Luis Hill had a tough start, and who else got knocked out early? We had 3 in a row. So it kind of set us back, but also, Yoendrys Gomez kind of reset us a little bit on that Friday game, and with the off day coming, we were in a decent position. So I don't know. We wouldn't have had a better answer bringing anyone in that spot pitching us into the fifth inning. So we were comfortable with that, and we were equipped to handle that.
Do you? I mean, I know you don't like to give away these bits of information, but is he a 75 pitch pitcher today?
Yeah, I don't like to give that away.
I think you should have just let it ride, Michael. Maybe he would have slipped.
No, he doesn't slip.
Yeah, well, they're going to ask me in my press conference here in a little bit how many pitches does Cole have, and I'm just going to not say anything. So, like that, and who's available in the pen, I don't like to answer in public or press conference. Like, if we hang up and Michael, you ask me how many we going, I'll give it to you.
It's funny. I know you're being somewhat humorous, but it's true. I mean, managers get asked these questions, and I always think to myself, why would they be honest? Why would they want the other team to know who's available in your bullpen? I'd keep all of it a secret. I would say hello to the media, and that would be it.
Yeah, well, and not that it's like too giant of a secret, like if I gave it away, like it would change. But still, it's just not necessary to give that out in a public forum.
And I agree with you, but I had to ask. I hope you understand.
How odd will it be? I know you did it in the spring, but facing Carlos Mendoza in the next 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a little bit odd. I was, talking with Louie before the game. I'm like, I think I'm going to change a couple things in how I, do things through him and through the base coaches and things like that. So probably got to be a little more aware of that. We certainly know each other well, and so I think it'll be a little odd, frankly, but also something that's pretty cool to be a part of this Subway Series and all that it means to the city and the players and the fan bases, and it'll be fun to compete against them here for a couple days.
Any part of it more fun because they are playing better? Does it get you a little more hyped up now versus if it had been a month ago?
No, I'd rather they weren't playing well, to be honest. But no, look, I think that naturally adds a little more interest in it, a little more buzz, a little more juice. I always say these little series that you get to be a part of in the grind of 162, whether it's a Subway Series or, last year going to Dodger Stadium or going to London or Field of Dreams game. We're doing the Little League game this year. These little, or a big division series that sometimes during the year, like they're little shots in the arm. They're little extra juice in the grind of it all. So I enjoy it.
All right, right before, we're talking with Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees. Right before we brought you onto the show, I was saying that I have a concern about Glaber and about LeMahieu. I think, we know the injuries to Stanton and we know the injuries to Rizzo. That happens. But these guys are your players, and I think they've got to start hitting. Is there any concern about either of them?
I mean, a little bit. Like, start with Glaber. I do totally believe that he will get it going here offensively, and now with Giancarlo down, against lefties, like he's the guy that needs to kind of slide into that 4-hole when we're facing a lefty, and he's capable of that. This guy in the prime of his career that been a really good offensive player for us over the years, and I'm totally confident that it's in there. And hopefully now's the time where he starts to really turn the corner and get it rolling and at some point get hot for us. But I do feel that's in there. With DJ, a little more complicated just because of the foot things that he's dealt with over the last few years. And the frustrating part about it is, he was one of those guys that I thought put together a great winter from a physical standpoint, physical preparation. Came out in spring training, I thought looked really good, just had a different life, just a different level of physicality than I've seen the last couple of years, and was really trending in a great way. And then he fouls the ball off his foot and breaks his foot, and it really set him back. So I think he's kind of still playing catch up from that. I think he's healthy. I absolutely think he's healthy. But, it's taken some time to obviously get him rolling a little bit, and it's something that we got to just, we got to keep grinding it out with him and see where we're at here over the next several weeks, because obviously he is a great hitter, and hopefully with time and continued reps here, he gets it locked in and becomes that presence in our lineup that when he's right, I mean, just the level of at bat he gives you, the ability to get on base, especially now with Volpe at the top. And like in a perfect world, I love him hitting at the bottom when he's going well, because he gets on base at such a high clip when he's going well. It like flips that lineup over and could really make us dynamic. But I think we just got to be patient and kind of get through it and hope that he gets rolling like we know he's capable of.
Aaron, we're always having to put out closer fires here because of the standard that Mariano Rivera set so many years ago.
Yeah.
So whenever Holmes gives something up, the fans get crazy. But is there any kind of an issue or any concern with Holmes at this particular point of the season?
No. His body of work has been so good and so consistent, and just as importantly, he's really equipped, like mentally, emotionally, to deal with the inevitable, bumps you have at sometimes, especially being the closer of the New York Yankees. I think there's that. It's partly Mariano, who, by the way, like in 2003 when I got traded to the Yankees, I came over here and Mariano had blown a couple saves in a row and was getting booed at Yankee Stadium, and I was like, Mariano Rivera gets booed.
Yeah, anybody can get booed.
So this is the greatest that's ever done it, and sometimes, we forget that they give up a lead every now and then. It does happen. You hit a little funk in the season. The good thing is, I think his funk, if you want to call it that, this year has been even better. Like there were times last year and even the year before where had a couple weeks stretch where he really struggled to find the strike zone, a little out of whack mechanically. I feel like he's so much more consistent and efficient mechanically that the times he gives it up, it's usually a little bit wonky. It's usually a couple bleeders, and then he makes a mistake with a pitch and they stick one in a gap or something. But that's the nature of a closer, and everybody has to deal with that. The reality is we've got a really good one, and one that's really mentally and emotionally equipped to deal with all that goes with being the closer of the Yankees.
Yankee manager Aaron Boone is our guest. So Jose Trevino, this is something fans are worried about too. 14 of 15 successful against him, stealing in the last 5 games. But Aaron, before that, he had thrown out 19 of 28 in the first 43 games, and that's 32.1%, which is higher than the major league average. So what has gone wrong in the 14 for 15?
Well, we had one really bad game.
Right.
Right? 9 of them happened in one game where, you're playing a team in the Red Sox that is their game. Like that is their roster right now, is athleticism, speed. It was a night in which, I think we gave up 13 singles and like 6 walks, so they were on first base at a ridiculous clip, and the matchup just kind of presented themselves. They had a little bit of a lead. It just one of those perfect storms. Now, it's also one of those things that, that kind of shined a light on, hey, this is an area, though, that we got to get better at that. And it's on all of us. It starts in the dugout with how we, control that running game. It starts with the pitchers and how they do their jobs. Then, obviously, the catchers and the infielders. The catchers, that's what you see is them being safe on the catcher, but there's a lot of people involved. It's one thing, especially since Luis Rojas has come here, we have been excellent at controlling the running game. We've invested a lot into it. We pour a lot of resources into it, and we've been excellent. We've got a little bit exposed here this last week with that game, and then maybe another one. So it's also, in a lot of ways, a good thing to kind of shine a light on that, because there's a handful of teams that are really, really athletic, and that's how they play, and they're going to push the envelope. So it's also a time to say, all right, where do we need to tighten things up? Where do we need to get a little better? What can we do to slow that in certain situations? So it's on our radar. I'm confident we'll get better at it, and we'll fix it and be more in line with who we've been, hopefully, the last few years controlling the running game.
It's not a Trevino arm issue, is what you're saying.
Look, Trevi, like, arm strength is not Trevi's strength, but that's not everything either. You know, it's still about, you know, being super efficient, getting rid of it, being accurate. And then again, all the rest of us, like, you know, varying looks. Some guys are more than others capable of being quick to home or varying their looks, or with the pitch clock, it makes it a little bit challenged. So some guys are better than others at that. So no, look, in a perfect world, everyone, you got a catcher back there that's got a cannon that, you know, has a release and all that, but you deal with what you got. And the reality is Trevi's obviously amazing back there.
Sure.
And while he doesn't have the strongest arm, over the years he's done a capable job of his part in the running game.
You know, what's interesting, too, is you're talking about a 31-year-old. This is only, the second year of the rule changes with the stolen base. I mean, how much of an adjustment is that for a veteran to now go from something that maybe wasn't a concern that now has become a major part of baseball?
Yeah, it's not I don't worry about that adjustment part for the catchers, and especially Trevi. Like, he's so on it, and his mind works really well back there and efficiently within that time clock. Sometimes it can be, you know, certain pitchers struggle with it, and they're just not whatever, you know, some guys just aren't adept at, you know, being quicker to home or varying their looks, you know, as much as you pour into that and you try and move the needle with guys. Some guys are better at it than others. So it's something that we're constantly working on, and we'll continue to.
All right, before we let you go, what do you expect from J.D. Davis? You have him at first base today, and what do you know about him when he was at the A's?
Yeah, you know, I'm really hoping that he becomes a piece. You know, obviously losing Giancarlo, you know, might even open up more of an avenue for him to get to play. You know, I expect him to play a ton against lefties, maybe some against righties. You know, we'll have to get a little bit creative here in the short term about, you know, just matching guys up. Hopefully a handful of guys catching some fire for the back end of our lineup, that it's, you know, becomes formidable. But this is a guy that I think at the very least should be able to provide us something, especially against left-handed pitching. So he'll figure into that kind of DH first base, maybe a little bit of third mix, and we'll just try and kind of piece this together. But you know, he's I think he's only 31 years old, and a history of doing some damage, and you know, especially against left-handed pitching, I feel like he can be really viable.
Well, Aaron, we thank you for joining us. I know you have to meet the media right now and not tell them how many pitches Cole could throw, but we appreciate your time.
No, they're going to ask.
Yes, they will. Don't tell them.
Meredith won't. I won't tell them. I'm just going to.
Don't pull a JJ Redick F-bomb up there.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Keep it together.
Don't do that.
JJ Redick. He said, "Yeah, and that
in his introductory presser.
Yeah,
you don't see that every
on
day.
live TV.
Yeah, so all bets are off now.
Oh, wow.
Not Aaron Boone. He was brought up the right way.
That's not a Booney thing. Thanks, Boone. You're a good man.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Take care.
That was Diamond Notes, brought to you by London Jewelers. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the Mall at Short Hills, and driven by Nissan. Hurry in. These epic offers are going fast at the Nissan Thrill of Summer Sales event. Shop your local Nissan store on nissanusa.com.
Wow, that was too comfortable.
It was very comfortable.
No, listen, I meant to say Booney, but the Y didn't come out. But by the way, it wasn't the least comfortable part of the whole thing.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
What?
The start.
Yeah,
was, do you have it back, Anthony?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Did you tape it by any chance?
Matter of fact, I think I'm
It
done.
was something I did?
No. So what you'll hear when we play it back, because we have to, is that Don told his nice story about seeing
got eggs.
And then after it finished, there was nothing, and then Boone went, all right, so what's up?
Yeah, so we're done.
So the friendship's over?
I mean, no, listen, we're professional, but I'm texting. I'm not going to reach out for his picks. We're done.
I can't believe you're acting like this, because I told you it wasn't a big deal that he spent time with you.
Yeah,
he probably felt uncomfortable when you brought it up.
If he hadn't given us such a dismissive "what's up," I was going to follow up by saying, "Aaron, don't you find it strange that Don is so grateful you made time for it?"
Because Michael made it seem like don't dare go near his office. So I thought we'd have a little fun. But listen, all right, we'll just keep it strictly business. Listen, I'm 56 years old. I'm trimming a tree.
But
and a major branch got trimmed.
But you know what? I know the branches you should trim, and they're still there. So don't trim.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
What do you mean?
You don't know who he's going to trim.
Yeah, you don't know what's been trimmed. We haven't seen each other in a while.
Well, that is really an interesting thing to say.
Wow.
That is, I mean, I don't know how well you guys know each other. I know you're close, but for God's sake, man.
That kind of comment brings me some pain. So, Don, what happens when I have pain?
Well, when you have pain, there's a couple of things you can do, but then
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
At Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, being the Northeast's best cancer center means being the best for you. Pairing the most advanced treatments with the most compassionate treatment. It takes looking at every cancer from every angle. And a care team that looks out for you and everyone you care for. It takes MSK.
After my second tour in Iraq as an F-16 pilot, I witnessed a family as their fallen soldier returned home. I felt a calling to help. Budweiser has believed in Folds of Honor for 14 years. Today, we honor our veterans and the 52,000 scholarships awarded to their families. That's enough to fill this stadium. Every limited edition case sold supports military families.
You don't need the same Duracell batteries that help power Williams Racing. Until you do. Duracell is a proud partner of Williams Racing.
Michelin innovates on the road and far beyond. With airless tires designed for exploring new frontiers. Michelin, motion for life.
Yankees against the Mets, the Subway Series. It is time for the Subway Series.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Yes Network is now streaming on Fubo. Watch the Yankees and more of your New York teams. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top channels. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
Have you heard about summer in New York? The secret spots. Hikes you'll want to get lost on. The views no one will believe. Rides for the whole family. Start your getaway at iloveny.com.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion. to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Do you want to close out?
Should I? Normally I'd hold, but taking the gains is smart here. Right?
Feel more confident with stock ratings from JP Morgan analysts in the Chase app. When you've got a decision to make, the answer is JP Morgan Wealth Management.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show. The pitching matchup for the first of 4 meetings in this year's Subway Series is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. For the Mets, who have won 13 of their last 17 games, Carlos Mendoza will send lefty David Peterson to the mound. He's won his last 3 times out, and the Mets have scored 30 runs during those 3 wins for the 28-year-old. While the Yankees will send their ace Garrett Cole to the hill, it'll be his second start this season since coming off the IL last Wednesday and starting against the Orioles. He lasted 4 innings in that outing and took a no decision in a 7-6 Yankees loss. Our coverage for tonight's tilt in Queens begins at 6 with Yankees batting practice today, followed by the pregame show, and first pitch is scheduled for a little after 7. It's the Yankees and Mets. Coverage starting tonight at 6 with BPTV, right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
And I was debating whether or not to bring it up because, you know, my biggest fear, guys, is, I'm going to be the old guy on the lawn, shouting at clouds.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe I am sometimes. But when Peter, who's young and hip and fresh, if he brings it up, it kind of opens the door for me just a little bit to climb through.
A little bit. The portal.
What exactly has happened to the coarsening of our society where a guy who went to Duke, a bright guy, just drops an F-bomb? Why? On live TV. Is that okay now? Is that okay?
No.
So maybe the FCC should change all these rules, too. I mean, this guy just dropped it, and it's not just J.J. Redick. Like, it's nothing now.
Let's go back to yesterday, shall we? Everyone gathered around in Los Angeles to hear the words the new, well-dressed head coach, Jonathan Jacoby Redick.
What misconceptions or concerns about you that you've heard in the last few weeks are you the most looking forward to dispelling?
I don't really have a great answer for your question because I really don't give a honestly. I want to coach the Lakers. I want to coach the team. I don't want to dispel anything. I don't. I want to become a great coach in the NBA, and I want to win championships, and I want my players to maximize their careers. That's all I care about.
Yeah, see,
well, what have I told you for many years, guys? Michael missed yesterday.
Yeah, he had a little bit of it was a controlled meltdown. He just went right after JJ.
Don said he was physically scared of me. He said I was giving real Dahmer. I wore the Dahmer glasses.
Yeah, he had the serial killer vibe.
Because Michael, something's been unsheathed. Something's been awoken inside of me by seeing JJ Redick in this role.
Dookie filth.
Things were said yesterday.
Well, you never liked him anyway, even when he worked here.
You could smell the sweat of Mike Krzyzewski's you-know-what dripping down his suit. I was never a fan for a lot of reasons basketball-wise. But yesterday, I'm telling you, prepare for a J.J. Redick as a head coach. When you talk about the coarsening of society, however you described it, he is going to have the smugness of a long-time NBA coach. Or really head coach in a lot of sports, college sports, pro sports, that real smugness sort of talking down to media. Because say what you want about JJ, I don't know the man. I think we could all agree, if you've ever heard him talk on television or anywhere, he's not shy about how smart he believes himself to be. And it comes across in his dookie nature. but it's going to be a mix of that sort of old school smugness, Michael, and obviously no problem cursing on his first day at the job. But then it's going to be mixed with the modern day constant defense of everything that is new, because part of his brand is I'm young, I'm a player's coach, I get this league. It's going to be a rich mix of annoying.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, there are different levels of media. So if you want to curse on a podcast, right, and everybody does, it's because, okay, that person that's listening to has chosen to listen to that podcast. But people that were watching the Lakers broadcast live, they're proudly introducing their coach, and he drops that F-bomb. I mean, again, I don't want to be that old man, but I would ask J.J. Redick, do you care that there might have been a 10 or a 12-year-old listening? Because I don't want my kids to talk like that. I think a lot of society, they don't care anymore.
Well, it's fine. I'm kind of in between. I don't think it's a great look, for sure. You know, like last night during the Stanley Cup celebration, if you notice, there were times where ABC would mute the sound because there was probably a player on the ice. The mic picked up an F-bomb or something. They're celebrating winning the Stanley Cup. Maybe they don't realize that they're mic'd. You know, should they use proper language? I guess, you know, technically yes, but in the sheer emotion of it all, if you're overcome with something that, or you're angry and something slips out, but it's just in general conversation at your press conference introducing you to the media, you just flippantly use that language. I think it's a bad look. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with age. And even going as far as to say, well, what if my 6-year-old was watching that press conference? I mean, I think you have to understand, like with Marco and Jalen, Michael, I can't cover their ears for everything. I mean, they know a bad word. They're just not allowed to say it. And if it's heard, that doesn't give them permission to say it. I try to make that clear because I realize I can't cover their ears every time we walk down the street, every time I'm flipping around on the television. But I'm just, what I would say to JJ or anybody else that defends it is like, that's not a moment of passion. That's not the heat of the moment. That's just using that language for the sake of using it in an introductory press conference. To me, I just think it's a bad
But you know what he was doing? Here's what he was doing, and I think it leans toward what Peter was saying. Look how cool I am. Look how I can relate to players. I speak their language. That's exactly what it was.
No, it was 100% that moment. That is exactly what it was. Well, and here's what bothered me about it. I kept seeing the clip moving around. I never got the full question. The question is so innocuous. Right. Now, that clip was edited. He didn't directly answer it that quickly, so it wasn't quite as mean and pointed to the reporter as it sounded when I just played it, in full disclosure. But, Michael, it was such an unnecessary curse. Like, if you wanted to deliver the point, which is, I don't care about expectations, all you had to do was easily say, can I be honest with you? All I care about is winning. Like, I really don't. I have no issues with what people think about me. They're dropping an F-bomb so needlessly. It was, I don't care how old you are. It was corny.
And I'm glad you said needlessly, because, Michael, if that's an attempt to say that I relate to the players, that's trying too hard, bro. Like, I'm sorry, you're not a player anymore. You're now a coach. You're an authority figure. Now, I realize the NBA, the players run the show, but he is the head coach now. You know, you can't try to become one of them. Now, you might be a player's coach and give them some leeway or some leash for certain situations, but I think where you lose is when you try to be one of them. You're not. I'm sorry, JJ, you're not a player anymore. So how the players talk, how the players conduct themselves, that you're the head coach of the team now, okay? Show some decorum. And I don't think that's a get off my lawn, Michael. What? Just because a younger generation feels it's okay to do that, that automatically makes it okay?
Well, yeah, you remember a couple of years ago, Pete Alonso cursed on the field. To Steve Gelbs, and I think that was wrong. I just don't get it. I don't get it. In public decorum, you shouldn't be speaking like that. If you want to do that in private, if you want to do that in the clubhouse, go for it. Go for it. I understand it. The three of us, our language is filthy when we're off the air.
Of course.
But when you're talking to the public and you don't know who's listening, my goodness.
But even in the Pete Alonso or a player in the post-game press conference, in a post-game on the field right after the game is over, there's a reason why there's that that 10-minute cool down period, right, before you speak to the media, because there could be moments. So after a walk-off win, he drops an F-bomb. All right, it's not appropriate. I'm not going to defend it, but I, in a way, I kind of understand. He's excited. He's in the moment. When you have a press conference, you're being introduced as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. That's something you prepare for, you get ready for, because that's the first impression that you're going to leave for that fan base. So you're prepared, you would think, for one of the biggest moments of your life. So what you did then, to me, it didn't just slip out. It was strategic. He did it on purpose. And to me, I don't know why that would ever be good. Like Peter said, you could just say, hey, I don't care about what everybody's expectations.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
You know, so he did it strategically, and that to me is lame. Like, I'm going to relate to the player. Like, LeBron James is going to like me because I dropped an F-bomb. LeBron James is going to like you because you're a good coach and help him win. And believe me, the second you're not, you'll be out of a job.
I think he also said, this is a good way to be forceful. You know, I really showed that I don't care. I think that was part of it, too.
Well, you know what? If it's that easy, Michael, then any yo-yo can sound forceful by dropping an F-bomb. It's not a hard thing to do.
Every yo-yo uses the word.
I understand, but what I'm saying
you're better than that, Mike.
That if you're trying to speak with conviction and prove to a fan base that you're the right guy for the job, it's easy to drop an F-bomb. But the words that you say are important, and you can convey a message that makes people feel a lot better than just swearing like a drunken sailor. Anybody can do that. You know, so at the end of the day, what's the big deal, I guess, is what people are going to say, because everything's just graded by, well, nobody died, so I guess it's okay to do. But I just think that there's, like, certain moments where you kind of want to put your best foot forward. And do you want your best foot forward to be dropping an F-bomb? Like, look at me. I'm a tough guy. I can swear.
I swear to you, I would rather, for me, and I'd be curious to hear from younger people, younger than me, people in their 20s, how they reacted to it. Because maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's not. I would rather have him use Generation Z, Gen Z slang than curse. You know, I'd rather have them ask him a question about something and him go, no, I got to tell you, that's cap. That's cap. That's a lie right there. I would rather have you attempt to relate to your players like that in a way that's at least openly a little cringe, rather than just trying to drop an F-bomb. It's just, it's, and Michael, you're right. To me, it was the tone he wanted to set. He wanted to let the media know, I'm a little tough, I'm prickly, get ready to treat me like Greg Popovich, even though he's the greatest of all time and I'm just a guy starting for the first time.
I look at it this way, too. I can't speak for Don and Peter, but I think I know them well enough. We're not picking on J.J. Redick because he's not at ESPN any longer. Because if you remember during the winter meetings, Brian Cashman had a profanity-laced, and I jumped him. I said, that's not the way the GM of the Yankees should be speaking.
We crushed him.
And if you also
we
just
listen,
you just listen to Aaron Boone when we brought that up, he was shocked that Redick would use that language.
It was such a bad look. I mean, listen, it was great for me. Let's just be honest. It was great for me because I'm rooting for him to lose, and I told Don, I'm going to kill this guy every chance I get until he comes back to ESPN and I'll have to find a new job. And that's okay because he's a powerful man. But by the way, he spoke about the end of his podcast too. He's done podcasting, guys. Add him to the list of people in recent memory who had a broadcast deal of some sort who just left people completely in a lurch. He did it this time with multiple jobs.
No, what do you want him to do?
He did it with he had a big podcast job, though, for the record.
I get it, but they offer you their Laker job.
I get it, but I'm just saying he wasn't in the basement. He was working for Amazon making tons of money. Like, this was a real job, just like his ESPN thing was a real job. I know nobody who has the desire of coaching. And are we ever going to take a moment and go, oh, my God, how were we ever told the fear behind Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson was that they might take a coaching job? The next two people in the booth both left for coaching jobs. Meanwhile, JVG and Mark Jackson never left for coaching jobs.
But I don't think that was a real reason they were let go.
No, and by the way, you know how I feel. There's some other reason that we don't know about why Jeff Van Gundy and Mark can't get a head coach job. I know Jeff got a ring now with the Celtics in some capacity as an advisor, and now apparently he's with the Clippers doing some sort of
lead assistant,
being lead assistant, and that's like a step. But isn't it weird? Is that the path that you thought Jeff Van Gundy needed to take back to the head coaching ranks?
Let's go to Artie in Fairlawn. Artie.
Gentlemen, Michael Don Peter, it's an honor to talk to you guys. Wow.
Thanks. What's up?
First of all, Michael, if I can agree with you more than 100% about that goddamn commercial, that's ridiculous. And now you got me with this J.J. Redick thing. It wasn't even like the heat of a game. You know, if you drop an F-bomb during the heat of like after a game, I understand. But this is like a press conference, so this is pointing. Second of all, for all your Mets fans or your Boone haters, you got Boone's bench coach as your manager, and they're the highest paid payroll in baseball. So stop hating Boone, because I love him.
Well,
and thanks for taking my call.
You got it. Thank you, Artie. I'm not quite. That was a word salad. I didn't quite understand.
Well, by the way, also the complaining about cursing would probably have hit better had he not been dumped because he cursed at the top.
Right. He dropped a GD.
Yeah, I mean, just if you're going to make the point, yeah, exactly.
I mean, but there are levels of curses.
And that's a lower level curse. But to some people, Michael, that's really, really bad.
To some people, it's number one.
See, I look at the F word as really, really bad.
Well, it depends. In public, the F is near the top. In my brain, though, I feel worse if I drop a GD than an F.
Really? Look at you.
F doesn't mean anything. It's a nothing word.
Oh, it means a lot.
No, it's just from a decorum standpoint, it means something. But on a personal level, saying it privately doesn't mean anything to me. Whereas GD, I don't like saying. That means I lost control.
Wow. Well, the F word's never been uttered in my home.
Yeah. Okay.
Has it?
Well, by the way, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that streak broken. It's going to be wonderful.
When is that streak going to be broken?
Oh, within a couple years. It won't be. I'm not saying it'll be broken to your face, like someone's going to scream it in your face.
Oh, you mean like Callie and Charlie are going to say it?
That's
not
right.
the house.
Yeah.
You think they're going to wait until they leave the house to drop the F-bomb?
You know what? If they'd get like I got for the word suck, they would get ivory soap in their mouth if they said in the house.
But
even if they were 16.
I'll be the first one calling the authorities. I can't wait to. I hope you do it. I need to send Charlie my number, because if it happens and you touch that soap, I will have the authorities of blankety blank town there so fast your head will spin, mister.
What? Like I can't discipline my child for speaking?
Not with a bar of soap in your mouth. You can't. Not in 2024.
From what you've told me.
Yeah.
16-year-old
Callie.
You're going to walk out of that room with the soap in your mouth.
We'll see. We'll see.
But why? Just because. Hold on. So let me ask you a question. Just riddle me this. Just because your parents said it was the be-all, end-all for them, why does it have to be the be-all, end-all for you?
Wait a minute. My father said it 100 times a day.
Okay.
So it's just they didn't want their children to say it. My mother didn't say it, but my father did.
But you took it to adulthood, whereas your father just didn't want you saying it as a child in the house.
Right.
But you've just continued to run with it. It's like a streak. Once you got started, you didn't want to break.
Exactly. It's become it's out of control now. Because there are times that I wanted to say it, especially to you.
So you don't care. So you don't care if the kids become adults and say it in their private life.
I would care. I don't want my children to speak like that.
I don't want to give too much away, but I have to. You just arbitrarily make that word to be what it is.
Right.
I've heard you say worse.
I agree.
Of course. Because there's a word that I grade higher than the F word that I've heard Michael say numerous times.
For sure. There are words up there.
So we choose our outrage. It's selective outrage.
That's my outrage.
He has selected it.
It's like me not wanting to watch the Manning cast. He doesn't want to use the F.
That's exactly right. It is completely arbitrary. And I respect it to some level.
Yeah.
And I particularly respect it in this conversation with public decorum, because I think we all agree, no matter what age you are, maybe when you're a teenager and you're an idiot, you don't care about anything. But like, if you're remotely an adult and you're in a public setting and there are kids, women and children around, and someone's just screaming that word, it elevates the whole thing.
But I mean, think about it, though. You get celebrated for saying it. Remember David Ortiz when the bombing and they came back at Fenway Park, and he just dropped it in front of 37,000 people at Fenway Park and on live TV. It's accepted now. We are the outliers. It's accepted.
Well, Awful Announcing's already turned your video around and put it up. So I was looking at the comments and everybody, clutch your pearls, old man. I'm
there you go.
Shouting at but I don't really think it has anything to do with age.
Well, I'm disappointed if Awful Announcing picked up anything. It wasn't about me crushing JJ yesterday.
Well, listen, you tried too hard, bro.
Yeah, I guess you don't want the real vitriol. I just want to get to call Michael an old man again. We have enough videos about
that. But they
didn't
say that.
I think it's old man.
Well, what do they imply?
No, but what I'm saying is that I don't understand how people just go right there and say, "Oh, well, old old man. Like, why? So the new, a younger generation doesn't have a problem with it, so that makes them right?
Let's take a brief time out because I'm getting yelled at. So, Don, why don't you tell us about Mazda?
We're going to play that.
The finest premium arena club in the world comes alive in Brooklyn. Welcome to Crown Club, the Brooklyn Nets' most exclusive club in Barclays Center. Featuring a menu curated by a major food group with Carbone classics and a world-class wine list. To learn more about premium memberships at Barclays Center, visit brooklynnets.com/crown-club.
First of all, how do you know all this?
Streaming now on an all-new episode of The Story of My Number.
You were the 75th overall pick by the Boston Red Sox in 1985.
It was a great decision on our family part, I guess. Not mine.
Yeah.
There's 50,000 people there. Here comes Fidel Castro, jumps the fence and shakes all of our hands.
Gracie Cashman sits down with Yankees legend Tino Martinez on The Story of My Number, presented by the New York Lottery. Streaming now, exclusively on the Yes app.
Find your way to exceptional offers during the Summer of Audi sales event at your local Audi dealer.
I'm former Major League pitcher David Wells. Over the years, I've been helping veterans get the medical resources they need and help them overcome their challenges. They've sacrificed so much for our country, and it's our duty to take care of them when they come home. Join us in our mission to end veteran homelessness in America. Please go to t2t.org to donate now.
Make this a summer to share and save during the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event in the 3-row Kia Sorrento, the tech-forward Sportage, the available all-wheel drive Seltos, or the IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus Telluride, each one recommended by Consumer Reports. This summer, visit your local Kia dealer and save. Get 1.9% APR for 48 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorrento vehicles.
Yankees against the Mets, the Subway Series. It is time for the Subway Series.
The ketchup? No. Dad, are you okay?
Yeah, just stressed out.
Oh, and the melody is sounding so much better. I can play it for you. Wait, where's your guitar?
I gave it to your cousin.
What? That guitar's like your favorite thing.
I don't need it anymore. Some days are just better than others.
I think you should go talk to someone.
It's not that easy.
Have you been thinking about suicide? You can talk to me, Dad.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years. When I have customers come in and ask for something for memory, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really worked so good for me. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Our incredible same-game parlay gets even better when you add Profit Boost. You can still combine all of your favorite selections to increase your potential winnings, but now we're giving you the option to boost your profit up to an extra 30%. Look out for a Profit Boost on select games and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
My name is Charles Bonzik. I'm seeking a life-saving liver. I want to live for my dad. He's a total marvel when it comes to motors. I want to fall in love. Oh, yeah. I want to live for my friend Franco.
2 more years, bro.
To infinity and beyond.
True.
My name is Charles, and I want to live.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
What if you went to your secret hiding place and found this? All drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, know that you can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/know-the-risks.
Everybody, Michael, Don, and Peter talking about the Subway Series, also Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, let's go back to the phones. Tyler in Cortland. Tyler.
Michael, how are we?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just to let you know, I'm in my 20s, and I went on Twitter today expecting to see Peter Rosenberg fighting with somebody. Instead, I see the Reddick drama. I'm with you, man. I thought it was a gross show of disrespect towards the fans, the new player, everyone. So let's just get that out of the way, man. It's not a generational thing.
Okay, good. Good to know. And I also blame it on, Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka. Yeah. I don't know what they did afterward, but they should have said, that's not cool. We're on live TV here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't, and I do believe, Tyler, I'll let you make your second point, but I do think that the younger generation that wants to use that as a defense, it's like, it's their drop the mic moment, right? Like, oh, you're an old man, we kids don't care about, well, why does that automatically make you win? I think we should all be able to agree that it's not classy. It's just not the way you should conduct yourself. And now, if you don't have a problem with it, that's fine, because there might be older people that don't have a problem with it. But this whole idea, well, you're an old man, and that's your drop the mic moment. I don't understand why that's always for the win.
What was your other point, Ty?
Well, what happened, Jacob?
Wow.
I apologize to the caller.
Yeah,
it's my fault.
It's my fault. I was talking to Jake about something else behind the scenes.
You know what? I want to know.
Well, I can't. That's the problem. I was asking if it's a topic we could talk about on the air, but I was trying to get clearance.
Well, now we need to. Now you got. No, there's no clearance. The clearance is I said it's okay.
I don't think that'll protect
Michael,
me.
you need to know, don't you?
I'd like to know, yeah.
I'll say. I mean,
you completely derailed the show.
Because like a teacher, well, they'll share it with the room. You pass the little note.
There's another story going on with regards that the caller just referenced. He went online and saw a J.J. Redick thing, and there's another thing relating to J.J. Redick that I don't know if it's been verified anywhere, so I'm not going to say it on
then
our
you should.
air. Exactly, but I am saying that's what I was asking the producers
that's all
about.
I wanted to know, what was going on.
Yeah.
Now,
not the story, the story.
Yeah, Don's point in interrupting Tyler, if you watched Real Time on HBO with Bill Maher, he had a great line. Because he has gone against some of the younger people that used to be followers of his, and every time he says something like that's anti-woke or whatever, their thing is old man or boomer. He said, that's not an argument. He said, that's just you're spitting out a comment. Like you just said, the people that were answering the awful announcing thing, what'd they say, Don? Old man?
Oh, like you're clutching your pearls.
But that's not an argument. So tell me why it's okay. Don't tell me that I'm clutching my pearls. I've never worn pearls. That's Jock Peterson. But my point is, don't tell me that. That's just an insult. It's not an argument. That means you don't have an argument. If that's your big comeback, old man, barking at the clouds, whatever, then you just don't have a good argument. You don't have a compelling argument. Just that I'm too old or Bill Maher's too old.
Well, aren't we allowed? I mean, the term pearl clutching for people who are under the age of 40, you don't know what we're talking about. The idea that you're in such shock that I'm grabbing your neck, if you will. Aren't we allowed to have things? It's funny, this is on like both sides of the quote-unquote woke conversation, but aren't we like allowed to have things that we are offended by?
Yeah.
You're offended by it, Michael. You are offended when people have a microphone in public and decide to, for no reason, just drop an F-bomb. That offends you.
Now, that's okay. The difference is, to me, is Michael is expressing his opinion on why he thinks it's bad form.
Right.
Which it is.
And if you disagree with me, just calling me an old man is not really engaging me in an argument.
Now, Michael, if it was really a clutching the pearls moment, he would take his offense to the next level and say that JJ should be fired.
Right.
Or no, listen, there's still FCC violations. There's still a reason why ABC muted the chants when McDavid was called for the Conn Smythe. You can get fined for that. I mean, we've all, as a society, have rightly or wrongly determined there are certain words that should not be uttered publicly. And it's
but
okay
JJ
to
didn't get
just
the
express.
memo.
Right, and if you don't have a problem with it, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. But to Michael's point, you got to give me a reason why Michael's wrong for expressing his opinion.
Call me an old man too, Michael, because I've been saying for years, and now it's interesting because UFC is with our company at ESPN.
Yeah.
I've always said, like, I can't fully accept UFC as being like a mainstream true sport competitor until they're willing to get their fighters to not curse in every post-fight interview on a live mic in front of the crowd. Like, to me, if you want families to be able to consume your game, it shouldn't include things that would require an R or NC-17 rating at a movie theater.
I have a strong take coming up, but first, Peter's going to tell us about Sloman's.
You don't know that.
Oh, I know. It's on the script.
It can bear over 4,000 times its own weight. And that's just the door hinge. Sturdy design down to the smallest detail, the Taos. Visit your Volkswagen dealer today and get 0% APR financing or a $1,500 customer bonus on a new 2024 Taos.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema. And they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Hi, I'm Sally. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a flight nurse on a helicopter that specializes in trauma. I've been doing flight nursing for 24 years. I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to keep up. I wanted all the boost I could get. I heard about Prevagen from a friend. I read the clinical study on it, and it had good reviews. I've been taking Prevagen now for 5 years, and it's really helped me stay sharp and present. It's really worked for me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay, and how fast you can get started.
You're way shorter than I thought you'd be. There's a shirtless selfie of me by the dumbbells. Here I am. I do air drumming. I'm a competitive air drummer.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I forgot my wallet at home, so sugar mama.
Will you excuse me?
The Hyundai Tucson with advanced tech and safety features. There's joy in every journey. Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month, or get 2.99% APR, or up to $1,250 bonus cash. Hurry, offers end soon.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
This is a keepsake frame. This is actually a photo from my wedding. I'm Adam Weiss, founder and CEO of Keepsake, the mobile app that makes it easy to have your photos printed, framed, and shipped to your doorstep. You just choose a photo that you love, you can preview it in over 100 frames, and in a couple of days, you're gonna receive your photo in a beautiful, handmade frame. So if you've got a special photo on your phone, install the free Keepsake app. We would love a chance to frame it for you.
Hey, so I found a betting system that's really working great for me.
So did I. What's yours?
I set up an hour-a-week time limit on FanDuel. I can also set up wager limits, so I only bet what I can afford, and betting stays fun.
Right.
So what's your system?
What's that?
Your system. What's your system? What is that?
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Subway Series tonight. Mets against the Yankees. The Yankees have lost 7 of their last 10. The Mets have been playing very good baseball. Now, when you take a look at the Yankee lineup, and we gave it to you earlier, you've got Volpe, Soto, and Judge at the top. That can compete with any top 3 in the majors. Volpe's had a really good year. Soto and Judge are MVP candidates. Now let's listen to 4 through 9. Torres, Verdugo, Davis, LeMahieu, Jahmai Jones, Jose Trevino. As presently constructed, they are not good enough to win the World Series.
No, you wouldn't think.
And, you know, you at some point you're going to get back Stanton. At some point you're going to get back Rizzo. Now, Rizzo wasn't a factor while he was playing because he wasn't hitting. Stanton was a factor, 18 home runs. But unless they make major moves, and who knows if they can, if Torres and LeMahieu continue to hit at this lackluster pace, they can't do it. Because, you know, I jokingly asked Mendoza, are you going to throw any strikes to Judge and Soto? Why would you? Why would anybody do that? I'd much rather have Gleyber Torres beat me. Alex Verdugo, who's in a little bit of a slump, but he's done a good job this year, I want him to beat me. Anybody from 4 through 9, you're going to beat me. Soto and Judge will not have an opportunity to beat me. And I think sooner or later, as the games get bigger and the stakes get higher, that's what teams are going to do. Why would you pitch to them? The rest of this order is not good enough, especially when Torres has been so bad. Do you realize that we're almost at the halfway point of the season? Halfway. This is their 78th game. Torres has 7 home runs and 29 ribbies. So let's give him 15 and 60. Are you kidding me? This guy's in the prime of his career. When's he going to start? When's he going to hit? DJ LeMahieu, there has to be legitimate concern whether or not he can play anymore. Now, I'm not one of these guys that gives up on people right away, but he's played 21 games since coming off the IL. He's 12 for 65. That's 185. Of the 12 hits, they're all singles. He does not have an extra base hit. If DJ LeMahieu is not going to return to the mean, and Gleyber Torres is not going to return to the guy who hits 25 home runs, unless they make a major trade, they do not have enough to win. They've got the pitching to win. I think they'll get better in the bullpen, which doesn't have to be a major move. But their offense, Don and Peter, it's not good enough right now. It's just not. The top 3 in the order, you could navigate that. And just take a breath and go 4 through 9 and dare one of those guys to beat you. There's not enough offense at the bottom of the order. There's not. It's too top heavy, and there's nobody at the bottom of the order that scares you. It's not a good thing.
And also, I brought this up yesterday, Michael. Like, Stanton's so frustrating. He's got 18 home runs, but you just know he's going to get hurt.
Isn't that what Cashman said? And everybody got hurt? Everybody got mad at him? He's just telling the truth.
So you really can't complain that Stanton's hurt because you knew it was coming. And when he comes back, I'm sure he's going to rake, and then you're going to just hold your breath the next time he tweaks something or can't play. So, you know, that's the dilemma that they have, is that the circular lineup thing is just not a thing anymore for this team. Now, Soto and Judge are historic, but you can kind of pitch around that if the other guys aren't going to produce anything. And all right, Rizzo's hurt, but it wasn't like he was getting a little bit better before he got hurt, but it wasn't like he was putting up tremendous numbers. LeMahieu, can we have a conversation that he might be, you know, like, well, he's clearly on the back 9, but is he playing 17 and 18, Michael? I know he's not that old, but at some point, you get to your mid-30s in the post-PED era, this is kind of when you start to lose it. Is it at least on the table? I mean, they called up Rice instead of having him play first base, and then they go out and trade for Davis. So it doesn't look like they've got a lot of belief in LeMahieu right now.
I don't know how you can. And you know, because, you know, I at least gave Judge some slack Because he didn't hit in April. Well, he didn't have any spring training. DJ LeMahieu didn't have any spring training, so maybe he's going through what Judge went through in April.
Maybe.
But, I mean, he's so anemic right now. He doesn't have an extra base hit. So, I mean, it's hard to carry that. It's hard to carry that. They don't have a first baseman. They took a player in J.D. Davis, who historically has hit well against lefties. Well, to an extent. He was designated for assignment by the Oakland Athletics. So it's not like you went out and got Vlad Guerrero. They're trying to patch holes. I understand what they're doing. It's not the trade deadline yet. I think the prices are higher now. And also the Yankees, everybody sees exactly what they need, so the prices are going to go high for them.
Yeah, it is.
The thing that really kills them, Don, Jason Dominguez. I mean, that's the answer to all their problems. But he's out for 8 weeks.
I know, and this is coming off of missing almost a year. It's scary, but at some point he's going to come back and he's going to help. But the concern is long term. I think they're going to make the playoffs, Michael. There's questions on whether they're going to be able to win the division, although after losing 2 out of 3 to Atlanta, they still gained a game because the Orioles got swept by Houston. But even the sweep with Houston's now won 5 in a row. They're 4 out of a playoff spot. Michael, if the Astros get into the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team. They always are. And you've got the wide-angle lens on the Yankees. So, yeah, are they going to make the playoffs? Of course they're going to make the playoffs. They're too good not to. But are they good enough to be able to go to the playoffs? I mean, to win in the postseason, to win a championship? Or is it going to be the same old song and dance where the offense disappears? And they're going to be pretty easy to pitch to in the postseason if it's just 2 guys that are hitting.
And also, the pitching gets better in the postseason, and they're going to pitch around Soto and Judge. They just are.
They're going to.
Have somebody else beat you. Now, by that time, Stanton will be back, and he's hit well in the postseason. And you'd think that Rizzo would be back. But, I mean, this is not a reaction for me for them losing 3 straight series. It's watching what they're running out there. And I think the keys to it are Gleyber Torres and DJ LeMahieu. They cannot continue to not hit. Gleyber is backsliding. Over his last 8 games, he's 2 for 25. 194 on base percentage, 240 slugging. So his OPS is 434. That's awful. Now, Trevino, we mentioned that they've stolen 14 of 15 against him. He's also stopped hitting. He's 0 for his last 15. So, I mean, the bottom of the order is a wasteland right now. So, it'll be interesting to see these 2 games. Mendoza really knows this team. He's in that dugout for 4 years, 6 years. 4 years as the bench coach. If he pitches to Soto and Judge, I'd be stunned. Why would you have those 2 guys beat you? Those 2 are the best players in baseball, surrounded by guys that aren't. Let's go to the phones. Shlomo on Hillside.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
What's up?
Thank God, doing well. So a couple of questions, one on Monty Williams and one on the Yankees trade deadline. So Monty Williams, I don't believe he was the reason for the Detroit Pistons catastrophe of a season. So do you think there's any place in the NBA that he belongs, any place he should go, or do you think he's done with basketball?
I think he's done with basketball. He's going to sit back and collect some money. So I think he's going to take a reset for a year and get his $17 million. They own $65 million, but he's well respected. There's a place in the NBA for him.
I don't understand how you'd go from where he was to then getting a monster contract, 1 bad year with a terrible team and franchise, to being out of basketball. I would assume, Michael, if I'm him, don't you collect it to do nothing for a couple years?
At least 1.
Enjoy and try to enjoy your life. As we all know, he's been through a lot over the last decade. Spend a year or 2 making some money and then get back in the game. I think he's super respected. He will definitely get a better job.
What was your Yankee point, Shlomo?
So, Michael, you've listed the positions that they need, and because mainly LeMahieu and Torres have not been, coming through. Have there been any specific players that have caught your eye? Like I saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I saw it on an ESPN report that I forgot who the reporter was. Forgive me. That I think he expressed some interest in going to play for New York. Again, I don't know what you'd have to give up to get for him. And I'm not saying he's the answer, but, have there been any specific relievers, infielders that have caught your eye?
Well, as for Guerrero, I'd be shocked if he approved a trade. He has made it very well known. He wants no part of the Yankees. He hates the Yankees and won't say why. And the only reason that I could figure out is that the Yankees and Brian Cashman had a deal with him to bring his father here as a free agent. And then George Steinbrenner superseded what Brian Cashman had come to an agreement on and signed Gary Sheffield. Now, Gary Sheffield ended up being great for them, but maybe that rubbed Vlad Guerrero Jr. the wrong way. He has always said he hates the Yankees and would never play for them. Would that be a good guy to pick up? Yes, but he's not a great player anymore. He's really good, but there are holes in his game.
Now, Guerrero apparently walked all that back, Mike.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
To what extent? Well, then that would be kind of a phony move by him.
Well, but you know how it all gets.
Yeah, but he said it for years. Like Ken Griffey said it for years, too.
But now I know Ken Griffey Jr. at least was on, a team. Well, in Seattle, at least they had a chance to go to the playoffs. Not so much in Cincinnati, but he's on a team that's under 500, underperforming, and if he's got a chance to win someplace, Michael, they are going to walk it back. If he's got, now he should be able to have options, but if he's walking it back, it tells you that he's on a losing team right now, a team that hasn't won a thing, even though they're supposed to be good and have a higher payroll. I could see that he's going to probably walk it back to whatever's his benefit.
Well, Vlad said 2 years ago he'd never play for the Yankees. Quote, not even when I'm dead.
Okay.
Then he doubled down last April. Goes back with my family. That's my decision. I will never change that. Now, according to the CBS Sports story, apparently things have changed. Prior to Monday's game, Guerrero softened stance while playing for the Yankees while speaking with Spanish outlet Virus Deportivo. If I get traded to the Yankees, I'll do my job and try to help that team or any team to win. I'm a professional and love this game.
All right, so there you go. So I don't want to call him a fraud, but clearly he's had a change of heart.
Now,
and that usually comes with the Blue Jays are under 500.
You know what a player that intrigues me that would fit with the Yankees, and I don't know if he's available. And the only way he'd be available is if Tampa Bay really thinks it's out of it, like one of the rare years where they're not going to make a run. I love Yandy Diaz.
All right,
that would fit. They'd have to give up a lot, but that would fit. Let's go to Bob in Scranton.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
What's up?
Always.
I was watching the tail end of the Red Sox-Blue Jays game last night because you guys were talking about swearing. And the NESN interviewer was giving an interview to one of the Red Sox players, and he had his uniform top on. And underneath on his shirt there, it said F asterisk CK, and underneath it said M, like blank M. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was real tasteless of them, number one, to wear that shirt, and number two, for the NESN sideline interview for even giving a TV interview. What's your thought?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I could blame yet NESN. I'm sure that they didn't quite know, and then it's hard to cover it up. But, Bob, this is the way it comes down to. I think players think, like, when they get tough and they curse and they're vile, they think it's cool. I think they think that it's hip and cool and they're appealing to, their generation. I don't know what to tell you.
No, because, hey, you're a player. You're making a lot of money. You don't care. See, the underlining thing here, Michael, is if NESN said you're not doing the interview with a shirt, they'd be like, okay, I don't want to do the interview anyway. Right. So if the punishment is don't put a mic in my face, I think that's the end game for them. These players don't want to talk to the media. They don't have to deal with it. So there's probably a reason for that. But at your introductory press conference where you're trying to leave an impression, I don't. You're really speaking to the lowest common denominator. If you think that's going to work, then more power to you.
Let's go to Bruce in Flushing. Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
All right, Bruce, bring it.
Hey, guys. 2 hockey points. I'll get to my ranking point in a second. But I just read online that Coley Campbell was elected to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What the heck did he ever do to deserve that? Keenan is not in, and he's in. I mean, this smells to high heaven. And I wanted to get your reaction to it, then have a range of points.
All right. Well, just quickly, they put in what is the exact phrase in the Hockey Hall of Fame? Like it's not the founders, the builders. Yeah, good point. Hey, he worked for the league a long time. He was the dean of discipline. It has nothing to do with his playing career, which was pedestrian, or even his coaching career, which is okay, not great. He's just been in the game a long time. worked for the league forever, dean of discipline forever. Do not look at it like you do Jeremy Roenick going in or Shea Weber going in. It's not, believe me, it's good for him. It shows a long, illustrious career behind the scenes. Don't get caught up in it, Bruce. He's a good guy. They're putting him in the Hall of Fame, but it's not like it's the Hall of Fame for players or coaches. It has nothing to do with his coaching or his playing.
But when you say building, I'm thinking Scotty Bowman. I think Keenan. That's basically saying you work for the league for 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why. But that's why you shouldn't take it all that seriously.
Right,
It's a nice thing that they did. It's like putting a broadcaster in the Foster Hewitt Award. Don't look at it as like what Keenan or Babcock or any of those other guys accomplished in their careers. It's not about that. It's just like it's
contributions overall.
It's a nice goal watch for a really nice guy that's contributed a lot to the league over 3 decades. Don't get caught up in it. What's your Ranger point?
I'm reading online the last few days. I see the name of Patrick Kane. I see the name of Travis Zurich from Anaheim.
Yeah.
I also saw something that it may be interesting in Stamkos. Don, you're close to seeing what our Rangers are going to do.
Listen, I don't know why Tampa would ever get rid of let Stamkos go. I don't understand Patrick Kane. I don't understand Zegras. Michael, bringing all these skilled players in to score goals, that's not the issue. If they want to get bigger, they want to get stronger, I don't know how you go out and get a guy with a new hip who's in his mid-30s to get that done. Now, Zegras is a kid from Jersey. He's a very highly skilled player. But I think they have that already. They need somebody that's a little bigger, a little stronger. And so these are attractive. They're sexy names. And maybe they will go there. But I don't see how those types of players ultimately help this team get past what just won the Stanley Cup last night in Florida Panthers.
JJ in North Carolina. JJ.
Oh.
Hey, before I get to something important, I think the Yankees and finally the Mets will have a good series. They're actually playing well, and the Yankees are in a bit of a rut, but it makes for good entertainment. But more importantly, Michael, I know you called me, a bore and not a great caller and everything. I understand.
But
I'm not a professional.
But a terrific guy.
I am a great guy. I think you're a good guy too. But someone to call me boring for someone that likes to have chicken tenders and fries every time, and doesn't wishes thinks about death every 5 seconds. It's very interesting. But
I'm interesting. I'm not boring though.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, more importantly, now I've not in spite, but I also just love you guys and want to go so bad that now instead of asking for a plane flight, the whole rigmarole of trying to get a car, I just said screw it, and I'm going to drive myself up and be at the beach bash.
Kidding me?
And have a great time, partake in a couple of beverages like gentlemen.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm getting you a drink, JJ.
Yeah.
Now I didn't want to pay for your. I didn't want to pay for your flight. I admit it, but I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah. And
That's all right. I understand.
And this is a perfect
these
time.
New York tolls, for God's sake, they're just as much as the flight, but it's all right.
That's right. We're going to show you a good time.
Tell more do.
And I'm going to tell you, I let Peter know this, so I'm going to let now the public know that I plan on drinking during the show.
What we're getting is we're getting drunk LaGreca.
And thank God. Hopefully, I love Richard, but I don't want to. Hopefully, I like Peter's idea of getting the crowd more involved and not listening to people talk about the 1975 Reds and Richard is great, but
So 1975.
Really,
what is Richard modernizing? Why would he talk about the 70s?
My God.
Yeah, but anyways, I can't wait. It's gonna be a great time. Hopefully, I get to come up and meet you guys and everything, the whole deal. Hopefully, Michael doesn't.
Nice. It was JJ's best call. Now, what you base that on, I don't know.
One thing about JJ. So I saw him conversing online with our good friend Jarv, and he said, "I don't know why Michael hates me," and I don't hate him. I don't even know him as a person. I think he's a dreadful caller. That's why the band just played him off. Doesn't mean I hate him.
I know, but it doesn't mean you like him.
Even when he was calling just to explain that he's going to the event, he had to get played off.
Right. Because he doesn't, again, like he said, he's not a professional broadcaster. But there's a level. Professional broadcaster, great caller. He's not at that level. He's not a good caller. He's not a bad caller. He's a dreadful caller.
I think you exaggerate that. And maybe it has something to do with you, Michael, because I think he's fabulous when it's just me and Peter.
Well, good. Then take him when I'm off. Let's go to Matt in Long Island City.
Hey, Michael. But I mean, this is not my topic, but your take about JJ not being a good caller, it's maybe your best take of all time.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's not that you're right. It's not that he's a bad guy. It's that I think he thinks he's a character on the show, like Richard is a character on the show, but he's just a regular guy.
Great point.
Like me.
Great point.
Like,
You know what? It is a strong point by
That
you.
might be the point guard, Matt.
Yeah.
But we are starting to develop a bit of a whack pack here on the station.
But the thing is, they have to come. He's not wacky.
He's not
wacky.
Beetlejuice.
Right.
He's
but
not Beetlejuice.
He's boring juice.
He's not. He's not Eric the actor. He's Eric the boring.
What was your other point, Matt?
Yeah, sorry, just about the JJ Redick thing. Michael, I think, so your conclusion is right. It's just, I think the reason sometimes you come up as, like, old man yelling at cloud is the reasoning. You always point to, like, society declined. It's not that anything has gotten better or worse in society. It's just that the cursing is inauthentic. I don't care about the language.
Right.
It's just that it's one of those things where he clearly planned that. Like,
I
the
agree with
cursing is
you.
meant to say, oh, he's keeping it real, but it's the exact opposite of keeping it real. Like, he went into that press conference with, I'm going to drop a couple F-bombs so people, tweet with big wide-eyed emojis that
You could feel it.
I'm a real one.
Yep. You could 100%
But
feel
you don't
that it was
believe,
planned.
Matt, that there's a coarsening of society where it's accepted by everybody, that they put a mic in their face and they just drop F-bombs?
I guess, not that I disagree with that, it's just that you always say that in itself is negative. Like, I don't think cursing more or less is a negative in of itself.
On the
It's just
air
a
it is.
change. But
well, on the air, it's illegal.
Well, but he says the chorusing. He's not saying that society is going to, the pillars of society are going to collapse on top of us. But what it just shows you is that you've got a generation of people that don't really understand, that now think that that's just an okay way to talk. They'll walk into a job interview and decide to drop F-bombs, and they don't get the job, and they wonder why. I mean, it's just an idea that there still should be a line of language in public forums that I don't think should ever. I don't care what, I guess there are certain words, guys, that seem to graduate. Like, well, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. When that was said in 1930, it was like, oh, my God. Like, there are certain words that kind of graduate into the vernacular. But, man, if we get to the point where the F-bomb's okay, well, then all bets are off, right, Michael? Then any word should be allowed to be said.
I think that I hear what the caller's saying, that sometimes Michael's point is really not old man at the clouds, but sometimes the way that he puts it together does feel old man in the clouds. But I will say this. The most popular thing right now in our country is no filter. I love it when people keep it real. They have no filter. Can I tell you guys something? I like filters. I love a public filter. You want someone coming up to you and just looking at you going, I gotta say, you look kind of fat, man. Like, we have public filters for a reason. Michael is right. There is a certain level of decency we need as a society.
And you know how much, I guess you could say, much more interesting or different my rants would be if I was dropping F-bombs. Like, doesn't it
become one of your brother's
but does it, right, exactly. I mean, that's a good point, because my brother's on Sirius and there's no filter, and he uses the F word, Michael, and that's him. That's what he wants to do. I don't have the luxury to do that. So when Franklin Morris Hatchett says, nah, it's a great look, he's being real. Like, if being real means that you don't have to try anymore, because that's really what it is, right? Like, I can use different words, I can use different inflection, I can use different tone to get my point across. If all I'm going to do is just use F-bombs, then I guess anybody can make a point. Exactly. How is that really any kind of an effort?
And again, to the caller's point, it wasn't keeping it real because it was totally contrived.
And also, I'm of the belief, and you might both disagree with me, when you go to that, you're grasping at straws. You don't have the words to make your point. So you say, well, let me really amplify what I mean by using this really dirty word. You don't have the words. And a guy from Duke should have the words. It's a pretty good school.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's always what I was told, was, Michael, is that the people that use that word, they don't have any other words to use. So you're coming across like you're limited in your language. Like, the only way to get your point across is to throw out an F-bomb. So then I guess anybody can do that, but to be able to do it without having to go there.
Well, let's do a nice social experiment right now.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, in a filthy, disgusting, sexual manner. Tell us about Bathfitter.
Well, I won't bleep and do it, Michael. I won't.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by Bigelow Tea, who encourages you to grab a mug and tea proudly.
It's amazing to think that my grandmother started Bigelow Tea right here in New York. And today, we're still a family company. And you have to remember, tea, that's all we do. So every cup counts. That means never compromising. My family won't let that happen. And our extended family, they give their all every single day. And our community, well, they expect that.
I want a cup of Bigelow Tea to be a moment just for you. That's what I hope for.
People call me Marina. I'm seeking a life-saving kidney. I want to pursue a dream of owning my own farm. I want to live for my granddaughters. They think that I'm the greatest person on earth. They really do. I want to live for my mom, Joyce, aka Mommy. I want to live for my kids. I think they'll need me forever. My name is Marina Jordan, and I want to live.
The Jetta received a 5-star overall safety rating, so if you stars get in, we could also say it has a 5-star interior.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I thought it was a good idea.
Visit your Volkswagen dealer today and get 2.9% APR financing or a $1,000 customer bonus on a new 2024 Jetta.
Yankees against the Mets, the Subway Series. It is time for the Subway Series.
Diversity is in our nature. Diverse cultures, identities, skills, and knowledge. Diversity is in nature, too. Biodiversity. Plants, animals, and ecosystems. It connects us and sustains us. But nature's biodiversity is at risk now more than ever before. And our own future is at stake. So ask yourself, how can you contribute to protecting all life on our planet? Because the future is in our hands.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. And your Ford dealer is the place to start. With a full lineup of vehicles and available powertrains. Get your ideal combination of power and capability with gas, hybrid, or all electric. But more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it.
Right now, get the Ford Edge with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $4,000 bonus cash, only at your local Ford stores.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
FanDuel Casino has your chance at the #1 feeling, winning. Winning ranks higher than any other feeling, higher than number 30. Saying, I told you so.
Told you so.
Higher than number 89, the feeling of catching your car keys with one hand. And number 78, thinking it's Friday when it's really Saturday. New players get 200 chances at winning with their first deposit on FanDuel Casino.
everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too. That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer. But do you have to wedge it into everything?
What? Don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The Wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way? Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really?
Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank. Hey! Brought my +1. Jamie.
I'm the Big C. I'm here to tell you about skin cancer. Skin cancer is the cancer you can see.
Is there skin cancer on me right now?
I'm not a dermatologist, but you know who is?
Hey.
Your dermatologist. Everybody has to get checked.
28th at Bar A in Lake Como, New Jersey. Head down to the Jersey Shore. Join Bart and Hahn and join us live starting at noon. And, of course, also there will be DPH on Rothenberg. We're going to have plenty of giveaways for fans in attendance and music from the Mark Ribbler Band. All brought to you by Aperol Spritz, Smart Water, Howler Head Bourbon, New Jersey Lottery, Espelon Tequila, and General Plumbing Supply. Trust the real experts at GPS. You must be at least 21 years of age to enter.
Michael, Don has developed a new habit.
In what sense?
In what sense?
You remember you used to get annoyed with him slicing the oranges?
Oh, killed me.
Drove you nuts, right?
Nuts.
I don't understand why.
Now he spends the break. You'd think it's as if he's like doing dip, but he's not. He's snacking on sunflower seeds, but he's spitting the shells into a bottle.
Oh.
Now,
I got to tell you, it is.
It's gross.
This is how far back.
I'm not saying I'm calling HR, but it was in my head.
This is how far back Michael and I go. He's lived through this before.
You've had this phase before?
Because I did have this phase before. What happened was, Michael, I went to Dick's to get a new bag for kickboxing.
Excuse me?
And I bought. Hey, that's the name of the place. It's not my fault.
You darn right it is. Love Dick's.
And Marco wanted a wooden bat. So we stopped, and I saw that they had some delicious Cool Ranch David sunflower seeds. And I'm like, yeah, I had a little bit of a flashback to like 20 years ago when I did it. And the thing was, 20 years ago, I was just the update guy, and Michael talked to me when he deemed it to be important. So I would spit, and you'd hear it on the air, and Michael would get upset, and I had a talking to. He took me aside, and I shelved it. Michael, why should I care how he feels during break?
I don't think you should ever care how Peter feels.
Okay. That's not nice.
Well, I mean, really.
Why would he not care how someone feels?
We sat through, okay? You with your hairy body vaping constantly. And we look at you, tears running down your face, and we dealt with it.
Don't you see? I love when you put Don on my side. Don's now going to have to agree with me against him. That's how bad you're taking it.
Well, first of all, I don't know how hairy Peter is, how that
it was
fits
relevant
into the narrative.
And nor, by the way, you would it would be like during a break, and I'd try to sneak a vape. You act as if I was just openly during the break. I was just out here vaping the whole time.
He would go to the far corner of the studio, or he'd leave the room.
Right.
Now, as far as his tears, Michael, how dare you?
Well, you know how he feels. He likes it. He's rooting for him.
He doesn't take.
How is rooting for me
seriously.
liking the fact that you had tears? That's a ridiculous statement.
Because it's sort of like how Don and I were discussing just yesterday. Not that you're happy when someone you know dies, but
glad
you
it's
do
not
go.
me.
But and you go, well, beat them. I outlasted them. So it's one of those things. Like, it's a win for you in that I was the one going through it and not you. And now, as we've seen, you've relished the moment in retrospect.
Well, the reason, Michael, you take it as a win. If you went through what Peter went through, you wouldn't have handled it that way.
No,
you would have taken to the streets.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You would have handled it differently, and it would have been more fun.
Oh, a lot of fun.
You would have been somebody to kind of hang around with.
Yeah.
Going to like Eyes Wide Shut parties and stuff like that. I mean, Peter handled it differently, and it bothered you.
Yeah, he did not want me to have handled it that way. Now, in retrospect, he made some salient points, but I wasn't in a capable place at that time.
All right, so ABC drew 7.66 million viewers for the Panthers Game 7 clincher over the Oilers. Now, the Oilers-Panthers also set a record audience in Canada on Sportsnet with 7.6, so we're looking at 15 million people watch that game.
Now, and you're talking about the Florida Panthers going up against the Canadian team. Now, a similar situation where Game 7 involved a Canadian team was in 2011 with the Bruins and the Canucks, and that did just slightly under, I think, like $9 million. But that's the Bruins. If this had been the Rangers versus the Oilers, the Bruins, then I think the number would be even higher.
Well, the last Game 7 was in 2019. Blues and the Bruins on NBC. That was 8.9.
Yeah, that was 8.9 because it's two American teams, an original 6 team, and the St. Louis Blues have a really nice following. So the fact that you were able to get a non-traditional hockey market in Florida going up against a team north of the border, that's pretty good stuff. And I think a lot of people were paying attention to that game last night just because of the 3-0 factor and the Connor McDavid factor. And I brought it up yesterday, Michael. I thought this was the biggest game that the NHL has had since Rangers Canucks 30 years ago. And that Ranger-Canuck game, the reason there was such attention is because the Rangers were trying to end the curse, and you had Messier, and it was a great, compelling series. And then that's when Sports Illustrated had the cover is the NHL hotter than the NBA, because that was when Jordan was gone. And then they completely dropped the ball, had a lockout immediately, and then everything fizzled out. They've got a real opportunity here to build on this. And the league is healthy, and we see what happens going into next year. And hopefully the few thousand fans that probably watch that more than usual, if you get a quarter of them to now be interested in the sport, you've done well.
Let's go to Tony and Brewster. What's up?
Hey, Tone.
I'm calling up to reinforce Mike's punishment for his son as far as washing his mouth out with soap.
Okay.
I just like to relate an incident I had in my own life back in the 50s in the Catholic grammar school in the Bronx when I yelled out, "God damn it," during a softball game.
Oh, what's the matter? Really, I need
Tony,
to Tony,
thank
goodbye.
you. That gets dumb, Tone.
The ignorance of people are so damn stupid. Because earlier, I want to get a point about swearing, and then they swear. And then the guy calls up a point about swearing, and then swears. You're making the point. What is the matter with people? Are you that dumb? I guess you're that dumb. Look in the mirror while you're shaving. If you don't cut your throat while you're doing it because you're so stupid, ask yourself, am I that dumb? And then if the answer is yes, do something about it. Read a book. Go take a course. But to just be that fundamentally dumb aggravates me. It should make you crazy. I'm not the one that's stupid, and I'm bothered by it. You would think the dumb person would say, you know what? I need to better myself as a human being.
I want to know what kind of course you imagine they should take.
Don't be dumb, because I'm not asking them to split an atom.
Is there such a course?
I'm not even asking them to cross the street without knocking themselves over.
Right.
I'm just not to be dumb.
Right.
It's a real simple course. If we took it, we wouldn't even be able to. We could hold our breath through it.
Right.
But these people, they would leave with headaches because they're just so stupid.
That was so frustrating.
Two people.
Two.
And they use the same thing. The GD. So you're trying to make a point to agree with Michael that you shouldn't swear in a public forum, and then you swear.
He was going to talk about his Catholic school upbringing as well.
You know what? That's poor job. You went to Saint Moron. Don't go to Saint Moron.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. I didn't know he was the patron saint of anything.
You never heard of Saint Moron?
It's the patron saint of dumb people.
I missed that.
Goodness.
That was, Michael, I love what's happening. Now, real quick, Don and I did have a thought yesterday. I want to get your thoughts on this. For the Beach Bash on Friday, Bar A?
Yep.
You're aware. You're familiar, right?
I'll be there.
What do you think about going heads up as a team in trivia, Michael and Don versus Rick and Dave, sports trivia battle?
Fine with me.
You'd be down for it?
Down for anything. I love the Family Feud idea.
Oh.
I threw that out.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite game.
We know, but you also want to host that game.
Well, not at the Beach Bash.
The problem is, Don suggested, and it was a great idea, but I was of the feeling, maybe, hey, listen, you get in here. You're Michael K., for God's sake. I thought you need to have at least minimum 3 people per team, and I don't see how we get the surveying done.
Well, if our great crew gets there early, there's going to be over 100 people there. You survey then.
100 people?
Well, I mean,
that's what you need. That's the number.
You need 100.
That's the line. No, but that's what they say. They say over 100 people were surveyed.
No, never over. 100 people were surveyed.
It's always 100?
Always.
Then you know what? Then I'll do it.
You can't. How would you play in the game then, Don, if you did the survey yourself?
No, I can write something out and hand it out and then put it in a box or something. All we have to do is come up with a bunch of different categories.
You two are both out of your board.
Because why
dare to be great?
Michael, it's another example. The show just doesn't want to be great. We're just happy with good. We're happy with above average. Anytime we dare to be great, the two of you go, wait a minute, time out. I need that.
There's no way we're going. I can't see it.
It's Tuesday.
We can't. Hold on. We can't even get our producer to leave the studio. The guy's a hermit.
He's antisocial.
No, did you realize that as of Friday, JJ will have been at more live events, Michael, than Anthony?
I don't think that Anthony just wants to be seen with the Pusick.
What do you mean? He lives the Pusick.
I asked.
You asked what?
To go.
No.
Yep.
Tell us the truth. Right now.
They can't. What are you doing?
We don't have the bodies. Dino's not going. He went last year.
Are you running the board?
I'm here.
Are you running the board?
I'm not running the board, no.
Then come.
Yeah, we don't need calls.
We're not
I don't
call
want call
screeners. Where were you not booking guests?
I don't want a call screener. I don't want a guest. I want my producer on site.
Look at me. Look at me. If you don't go, what you're saying is you can't stand us. You hate us. You want us dead. And that's what I'm going to take from it if you don't go. We don't need 17 people in the studio for a remote. We need you there to have fun and introduce people to the Pusick.
Wait, do you mean to his beard or to the person?
Both.
No, the collective Pusick.
Rick DiPietro has a good point. Have the questions on a sheet at the door. They need to circle answers before they come in. It's easy.
It's really easy. If we wanted to try. But listen, I know we couldn't handle
How many people do you think you need on a team, Michael, for a real Family Feud situation?
You could go 3.
So, you know what we could do? Well, all right. Well, yeah, you know what? Okay. All right. Then someone, let's think about this. Let's talk like gentlemen.
More yo-yo people.
Oh, boy. I don't want to hear.
Split personality. Peter, I'm curious. Don LaGreca said damn during his mini rant, but he blasted the caller for saying GD.
Yeah, but you don't understand. The thing that makes that bad is the G part.
Is the G.
Well, but he said, why is it worse at adding God? Well, if you don't know, you should attend the class I suggested.
Listen, you guys know, please, everyone knows, I'm no prude. I'm certainly not. No one's ever confused me with being uber religious. The G part is the whole thing in GD.
It's the money word.
If you say D on its own, damn is nothing. It's the name of a Kendrick Lamar album. But when you add the G, especially when you're on the air, there are people who are offended by that. Religious people hear, they hear GD or they hear JC, and even though in your regular life, because you know your surroundings, it's not that offensive because you know who's religious. But when you don't know who's religious, you don't drop a GD or a JC because you can offend someone.
Well, Don, you will not offend anyone if you clue them in on Mazda.
All right, I think they're on.
Go behind the numbers with a brand new series on the Yes app.
17.
My first number in the big leagues.
1734. But
Daniel Boone.
Yeah, 31. Can you do that impression for us?
Dave Winfield's going to be a little something like this.
Gracie Cashman hosts a new Yes app series, The Story of My Number, presented by the New York Lottery. Streaming now exclusively on the Yes app.
The finest premium arena club in the world comes alive in Brooklyn. Welcome to Crown Club, the Brooklyn Nets' most exclusive club in Barclays Center. Featuring a menu curated by Major Food Group with Carbone Classics and a world-class wine list. To learn more about premium memberships at Barclays Center, visit brooklynnets.com/crown-club.
Your way to exceptional offers during the Summer of Audi sales event at your local Audi dealer.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid, Freedom Care allows people to choose who provides their care, and the caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nanny gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Big season. More reasons to say yes. Wow. Yes to the ultimate viewing experience.
Aaron Judge crushes one.
Yes to in-game live stats. And earn rewards and win prizes. Get all the Yankees action on the Yes app. Download now.
When you see all the people who work at Shriners Hospitals for Children, you might see everyday people just doing their job. But to me and other kids, they aren't just receptionists, therapists, or doctors. They're superheroes. But these superheroes are only able to help all of us kids because of the support of people just like you who empower their abilities so we get the care we need to live our lives like super kids.
Because of people like you, I can play the violin.
I can play piano. And I can walk. Please go to loveshriners.org right away. Help us be superheroes too.
You're living with roommates and managing fine. Even if this one bedroom is shared by 9. Ooh, that's a lot of people. Just remember to take life one spoonful at a time and go. Go to your skippy place.
It all starts with a Chevy truck. Chevy Silverado with the Turbo Max engine and best-in-class standard torque. And Chevy Silverado HD with up to 14 available camera views. Do more in a Chevy truck. Get yours now.
Or current Chevy lessees can get this Silverado for around $359 a month. Or well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR when you finance with GM Financial.
Yes Network is now streaming on Fubo. Watch the Yankees and more of your New York teams. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top channels. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Circle it. Circle, you let me circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. Let me circle it, I'm like circle. When I'm hanging with my friends, I can circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it. Can you circle it? 'Cause I can circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it.
When disaster strikes, no matter where and when, cash is best. Those in crisis are able to decide where that money goes. It's easily exchanged and received across borders, and nobody knows the needs of a community in crisis better than the people within it. With cash, help goes exactly where it's needed, when it's needed. Ultimately, cash creates choice. And when it comes to what we should send to communities in need, our choice is simple.
The Community Food Bank of New Jersey is the state's largest anti-hunger organization. We provide nutrition. We provide support. We provide opportunity. We can't do it without you. Go to cfbnj.org to join us today.
It's hard for anyone to fight that one. the real point got off the air. He just thinks my take on my JJ hate is going to age like fine wine.
Why?
Because he's going to fail miserably at this job. It's just such a hard job. Even in the best circumstances, it's such a bad spot because of the LeBron of it all and the pressure. Not to mention, I love the timing of the whole thing, too. Right as the Celtics are hitting like this peak where you know this Celtics team is going to be very good for the next 3 to 5 years. And the Lakers will feel even more pressure. This is a tough spot to be in. I mean, I know he said yesterday that Anthony Davis is one of the greatest players of all time, but I don't think he's correct.
Something I found out over the weekend.
Okay.
Braves fans are immature little petulant children.
Oh, no.
This actually, Nancy said this came up on her phone. She wanted to know why.
It's unbelievable. Let me explain. So we're doing the game on Sunday, and I'm reading the Braves' offensive stats. The stats. Fact. Stats. They're 14th in this, 15th in that, 16th in this, 14th in every major offensive category other than slug, which I think they're 9th. So I said, as the kids would say, their offense is mid. It's the very definition of mid. And boy, did these childish, petulant Braves fans just jump me on social media. I mean, it almost went viral that I called their offense mid, which it is the very definition of. Mid means right in the middle. 14, 15, 16. There are let me explain it to the Braves fans. There are 30 teams in baseball. If you're 14th, 15th, or 16th in all the major offensive categories, you know what that makes you? Mid. Mid. Suck it up and like it. Mid.
Oh, my God. I've never heard that. I think that works.
That's what it is. You don't like it. And I wish that I engaged on social media because I almost did. And I said, I've kept the promise for 2 years. I'm not doing it. I'm not lowering or coarsening myself to argue with these infantile maniacs. Oh, mid. How's this for mid? Because right after I said it, Jared Kelenic hit a home run. And that to them was proof I was wrong. Come back to us.
It's so weird. Like, where do they get this? Aren't they watching their own?
But you know what it is? I'm going to blame my friends at Talking Yankees. Because they put it out immediately. Right after Michael said mid, Jared Kelenic hit home. What does that mean? The worst teams in baseball win a game. Does that mean they're good?
The worst teams in baseball hit home runs, too. I mean,
they do all of it.
They do baseball stuff, even the worst teams.
It's 162 games.
But, you know, and also there are a lot of Brave fans in New York going back to the TBS.
Good. Come get me.
You know what, though? But here's the thing. Be this Michael. This is what I want all the time.
This is good.
Why?
Because when you're into it, and I suffer from the same thing. Sometimes I want to scrap it up, and then sometimes I want to go, I don't want to have problems. You do the same thing. This is the one I like. This is where you need to be. When people have a problem, lean right in against them.
I mean, I don't mind if you have a legitimate argument but when you're a kindergartner, the way you're talking. I mean, that's not a fan. That's not an intelligent fan. It's a mope. Mope. M-O-P-E. Again, look up what mid means. They're exactly mid.
What it was, Michael, was a creative use of current slang that was completely appropriate and related to what the original word would be anyway.
And it wasn't like I co-opted the slang to make myself cool. I said, my quote was, as the kids would say, this offense is mid. And boy, did that set people off in Atlanta.
But in this case, it's so perfectly apt. Literally middle of the pack and everything.
Yeah. Oh, but they did not like that.
Well, Michael, I support you on it.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, our coverage of the Subway Series gets underway with Yankees batting practice today. For all of us here on the Michael Kay Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. The Michael Kay Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
This is the GMC Sierra, powered by the TurboMax engine, with the confidence of 430 pound-feet of best-in-class standard torque. GMC Sierra, it's the truck.